Hello everyone, welcome to today's live Q&A. I'm starting with a few rapid fire questions before I then jump into the pre-submitted questions of our premium members. So we do have a lot of these one-sentence questions from our members, and I want to knock them out one after the other. So, all right, I'm starting around the 1 minute mark and answering Adriana's first question. And if you have one in the chat, I'll also, as always, try to catch as many as I can. So first question is, how many creatives should be in one ad set and when to create a new campaign? So whenever you are testing creatives, I recommend to create a new campaign. When you first launch your offer, I always recommend you have a validation campaign. In the validation campaign, you don't need a lot of creatives because ultimately what you want to do is you want to, as much as possible, pull the sales page to the front end and really just make your first ads about the offer itself. So it will be your community banner with your about page copy, the video on your about page with your about page copy, a simple call out ad. If you're X and you want Y, join my community. So the first ads that you ever launch, they should be they should be as close as possible to your offer, because the first campaign you ever do, it really should just validate your offer. So you don't need a bunch of ads. Sometimes, like I said, your community banner and about page copy can be enough. So that's your base campaign. Now, after you have your base campaign, you want to test new ads once the offer is validated. And there you really can put as many or as few ads as you want into a new campaign into one ad set. So you want to always have the same budget, which is 2 to 3 times the price of your front-end offer, right? So for example, Grow with Evelyn is $33 a month. 2 to 3 times the price of my front-end offer would be between $33 and $66. So I typically test with $50 per campaign. And then sometimes I will just have one new ad that I want to test, right? Because it is something that came to me under the shower and it's like, oh, this could be another angle. And sometimes I will test a batch of new ads where I can even go in and I can test 50 per campaign. I will still not increase my testing budget, right? So Meta is really, really good, basically pre-sorting and pre-filtering your creatives. And I don't match the budget to the amount of creatives that I have. I try to test as many creatives as I can, as often as I can, as fast as possible, with a minimum of 2 to 3 times the price of my membership, so that I can get at least one sale from those ads every single day. And then you let your validation campaign, you let your creative testing campaign run. And then after 72 hours, you will see either you have no purchases at all, then you just, thank you, or you have a purchase, but it is not profitable. It's less profitable than your base campaign. You just preview the ads that generated the purchase and you add those to your base campaign, even if the cost per purchase is high, or the creative testing campaign is even more profitable than your regular base campaign. So then you leave that running. If your base campaign is still profitable, you also leave that running. And from the next testing campaigns, you consolidate into both of these campaigns, right? So that's how I like to handle it. That also allows me to take advantage of when a campaign just lands in a really good pocket of the audience. All right, so the next question is also from Adriana here, and I'm answering around the 4-minute mark. When do you know you have found a winner in a Skool offer? It will be very clear from the first 24 to 48 hours. You will see your first purchase, and then you will see consistent purchases every single day. If you truly have a winner, the purchases will be quick and they will be super consistent. Then all you have to do is start to increase the budget and double down on the winner, create more formats around the winning angle, and create more angles around the winner. So it will be very obvious that you have a winner, because you will get cheap sales and you will get them consistently. All right, William, answering around the 5-minute mark. What ingredients made your most successful challenge your best converting challenge? That's an excellent question. So my highest converting challenge is the traffic challenge. And I think it has a few ingredients. First off, it truly is a challenge that is an infinite game. So if you've gone through the challenge creation course, you know that there are challenges we can set up that lead people to a finite outcome, a discrete unit of achievement, right? For example, I have relaunched my Skool community. And then there is games that we always have to play so that we keep getting the outcome. And the traffic challenge is an infinite game because you always have to drive traffic to always keep getting sales. It's like when you're helping somebody to be in shape, you can have, lose X amount of pounds in X amount of weeks, or you can have it as an ongoing accountability to stay in shape. So I would, and you have to frame that a little bit better, more attractive on the front end. But in general, I think the one thing that it makes it so successful is I've really scoped it around an infinite game, and it does make sense for people that they have to keep playing it. And one thing that really happened for people as well is when they have played the traffic challenge and then they stop playing it, and it's like, oh, now I did my 30 days, now I stopped the challenge, I completed the challenge, and then they start to see the results go down. It's like, oh no, I have to keep playing the challenge to keep getting the outcome. So it is very sticky for my membership. Then I also think that I leaned on a borrowed brand, which is something that, again, I teach you guys and I always recommend. People know what traffic is, right? And it is self-explanatory enough that people can get it really, really quickly. And it's open enough that it appeals to a wide range of audience. I could have also made the Skool ads challenge, but then I would have narrowed my audience to people that are ready to run ads. By picking traffic, more people are familiar with it, and my bucket of people that it applies to is bigger. So I would always say pick the borrowed brand that is the best fit while it's the widest to the audience you can serve. So I think it also does that extremely well. And then it was something where I could show measurable results quickly. If I would have made the sales challenge, right, it would have been significantly harder to show a large amount of results really, really quickly. But because it is traffic, right, which is precursing the sale, it is super easy to get someone a win on the first day, right? If somebody has never focused on traffic at all, I can literally double, triple, quadruple the traffic in the first day. So I also picked the metric right in the way that it is the input metric that leads to the ultimate thing that they want, but it's also early enough that they can see progress really quickly. And that's also one thing that makes it so sticky and so addictive, is that they see, the win relatively quickly. So I think what also makes it really good is from its frame, it allows me to create a lot of cookies inside the traffic challenge. I can create a lot of micro solutions that I can advertise, like ads cheat sheet, right? Or the advertisement templates or the community banner templates. It allowed me from the scope to create a lot of micro solutions within the challenge that I can advertise that also lead back into the challenge. So it was easy to multiply my ad through the different offers that are also included in there. So I think that those were the ingredients for the challenge. Let me just check in with you. Hello. Yes, I'm live right now. Hello. Good morning. How's it going? Oh, good morning, Aris. How do you get an audience that's used to other platforms to actually adopt and enjoy the Skool experience? My niche is digital product designers. Okay, I absolutely love this question because I've been in your shoes, and I see that you also asked it here. So I just want to make sure we're time stamping it. So answering around the 9-minute mark. All right, so some of my original OG members are on the call. I've seen at least one, and people were very upset when I made the move to Skool. Like really, really, really upset with me. But I also felt like it was the right thing to do because I'm teaching about memberships. And when I played the games and I saw, the power of Skool and where this is going and where Facebook was going, which I had a lot more data on than my audience because I was just seeing how the system changed, because I had at that point 10,000 members across my communities, and I could see I'm not getting reach anymore, so I was seeing all of the problems, and I was an early mover in that sense, and my audience didn't like it at all because we had something so beautiful here, right? And I had to messed it up by making everyone move to a new platform that they didn't want, that they didn't enjoy, they didn't like the reputation of. During that time, it was very pro marketing-ish. It was a little bit of like scammy vibes as well, right? Just from the communities at that point in time that were on a About page. So my audience didn't like it at all, and they were really rebelling, and they were very vocal, letting me know. So it was actually a really hard time because I felt it is the right thing. At the same time, I'm a people pleaser. I didn't want to disappoint my people, and it was also hard for me to let go of people. So I did have actually real churn in my business and a few people turning their back on me as their mentor because I decided to make that move. But it's like this example that Alex gives with the local bands that are the superstars, and then they go mainstream, and then they naturally lose a part of what made them special, right? But ultimately, they're losing a few of their original fans to reach a much, much bigger audience with their music. And I think what I saw was that Facebook is only a shrinking pool. I felt like a fish that had fallen out of the ocean and the sun was drying up my paddle, right? So puddle. So I knew I can't survive like here. And I also knew this is not where, do I want to lead my people in staying here? I don't think so, right? So it was the right move. And so I will had to be okay with making that switch, and then just, and this is how I always do it, stubbornly walk my path long enough until people see it was either the right call or I will have to adjust, right? It might have as well been the case that I had to say, I made a wrong call. But I think that's always with you being a leader, is you have to be at risk of making the wrong call, but at least you have to commit to something. So I think the long answer here is your commitment and leaning into it and saying, I am now here. You can still find me, but I'm here, is the first thing. So you have to be settled in that decision, because in everything, our intentions shine through in everything you do. And then it will clearly shine through that your presence is here now. Then you have to get emotionally okay with that not being the place where certain parts of your audience want to be right now. But you can, on the other hand, see that on Skool right now, we have 25 million users that are all into online education, and a very sophisticated chunk of those people is into digital product creation. So instead of being hyper fixated on not losing any of your members from your hometown, look at the world that is open to you of people that are already here, already enjoying the platform, already have a card on file, and that are willing to grow with you. You cannot make someone want to change beyond you role modeling it, and then a certain part of the audience will go with you, and the other part you have lost for now. And that's okay, because on the other side you have so many people that are here and that are eager to learn from you and that already love the Skool platform. All right, so let's get the next question here. Around the 13-minute mark. How can I see each member's real activity in my community, including module completion, rather than just general activity heat map or visibility, likes, and comments? Excellent question. I just want to demonstrate with your profile here. So I'm just pasting your name here so I can find you as a member. And then what I can do is I can see here courses, and then I can see your completion rate, right? So that's how you see how people have gone through the courses or not. Beyond that, you don't have a metric into any specific member. All right, next question from Matthew. Great work also on completing the the Skool relaunch challenge. Next question we have from Matthew around the 14-minute mark. Let's do 15 because 14 is almost over. How important is it that we create a YouTube channel to drive people to our schools? I think if you can only pick one organic channel, I would make it YouTube. It is the best for long-term relationship building, and it also becomes your documentation and content, and with that, for AI, context repository. I can create so many offers and so many things so fast because I have my YouTube channel, and on my YouTube channel I have, let's unpin this. I have basically a history of all of the content that I made and found really, really helpful at that point in time. And I can go and I can strip the transcripts and I can make any post I want, any email I want, etc. Right? So it's really important for the long-term personal brand building, the trust building, the relationship building, and it also serves as your content repository for creating digital products with AI. So I do think it is very important. However, I also recommend to sequence it in the way that you first validate your community idea with ads. Again, you don't have to run the ads on an ongoing basis. You can use, if you have a free community, $10 for 3 days, right? And then as many validation rounds as you need. Typically, serious attempts, nobody needs more than 5 validation rounds. Like you have to actually already pivot a lot, right? So typically we see someone within 3 rounds really validating their community. And if you have it paid, right, in the validation round, 2 times max the price of your community, and then validate through until you have at least 1 sale. Then you actually know this is my starting positioning, and I can create my YouTube content from there. Because what happens if you have not validated your starting position, your container for all of your other offers and all of your other content, you don't know in which direction you actually need to create. So I would do that first. And then next, I would start to get a cadence of 1 pillar piece per week. If you're shy about YouTube, you can also just create that internal pillar piece, right? So that's what I teach people that are like, I don't see myself on YouTube just yet. Just record a YouTube-ish video per week. Sit down for 20, 30 minutes in time every single week. Ask AI to ask you questions that will tickle out your relevant experience as it relates to your community based on what you've learned and considered this week. Do a full stream of consciousness download. Don't even worry about it being structured or not. Then run it again through and say, now what viral ideas do I have in here? Okay, I picked this. Now what questions do I need to answer so I have the content for that video, and then record that content. So you have one structured training resource every single week from where you can create your offers and your content for in Skool. And then if you're happy with it, which I think happens to most people, you can put it on YouTube. You can use the video artifact that I always use now in the latest videos, makes it so easy. So once I have that, like, second version of, okay, this is what my video is about, I just paste it into the artifact. So I have a really nice and structured resource to walk through. I record myself with Loom and I'm done. I'm now with these YouTube videos, I'm done between 30 to 40 minutes max, right? From the whole starting to finish process. So I think this is doable, and it's going to really help you build out that content in your Skool community. And then from there, build out your funnel into your Skool community. So if you have not seen my latest video, this is what I'm doing right now, and it's working really well. Okay, so excellent question here. Let me jump to the next one around the 18-minute mark. Why do you rebrand so often? I'm not judging. I'm just noticing you change up your Skool covers and brand often, and would love to know the logic behind it. So when my ads start to fatigue a little bit, as in the baseline ads, the community banner, the video, the ads around this, I like to fresh things up a little bit to basically make it a new opportunity. And one of the easiest things you can do is playing with the visual branding of it. And I also sometimes get tired of my stuff, and then I just like to make it visually appealing again. And then also my community keeps growing based on what you guys need to get the results, right? So 2 months ago, these things here didn't exist. This is new. This is new. This was after the last challenge. So these 3 here, they're all new. So they all needed a new banner. And then for people to not get confused and have it look too scattered, I basically just skinned it and put it in a logical progression, right? So when the content gets to next level of this is how it flows best to help people right now with the new offers, then it's just time to make it one cohesive system. And it also helps me to have less ad fatigue and play with it. Okay, now the next question here around the 19-minute mark. And then I capture a couple from the chat. Should we add creatives into a running ad set, or would that harm the campaign? So when you do your new creative testing, like I said before, and you find an ad that generates purchases, and you are turning off that campaign because it's not as profitable, so it can be turned into its own base campaign, then you grab the post ID and you consolidate it into the original campaign, and that typically will not harm your campaign. In fact, if you have a really good ad, it can actually lift the whole campaign up. Our goal is to build up campaigns that have ad sets that are stacked with 50 ads that all have proven that they can generate purchases. All right, because that was a short one, just one more here. When should we use an engagement, traffic, or sales campaign? When we combine it with a comment letter for ManyChat? Excellent question. So we want to get sales, right? So what I do is I post the reel organically. Like this one, I posted as an organic reel, right? So this is my last one. It actually did quite decently organically. It got 6.3K views, and I do not touch it at all when it's here. But I will pick it up with a sales campaign, optimizing for purchase to get more people into my school. I don't bother with the traffic, with the engagement campaigns. You can test. So for example, for this, it would actually be worth testing it, because when I, not this one, but the artifacts one. So I had this reel where I taught people about artifacts, and it leads into an artifact. Let me just show you. Was that already so long ago? One second. Artifacts. There you are. So this video gives the call to action to get this complete artifacts cheat sheet. And then here it links through to my community. So when I posted that reel, within the first day, I had 5 signups to grow with Evelyn. So in this case, it actually might make sense to test boosting it and see if it still converts so many people into Grow with Evelyn. Might be a cheaper way to get conversions. So when I see organically the post and item convert through really well in my community, it might be worth a test to put, $20, $30 behind it and see if it keeps getting community members, even with that engagement campaign objective. But in 99% of cases, if you're not seeing like high number of conversions through the artifact quickly, you're just better off picking it up with a sales campaign optimizing for purchase. All right. I see you're also on the call, so let me catch that. 22-minute mark. How would you boost a YouTube channel with ads? That's such a good question, and it's not what you think it is. So to boost a YouTube channel with ads, the usual advice that people will give you is that you would set up Google ads and then run discovery ads to your channel. I tried that in the past, and it was just a mess. Not a lot of people would subscribe to the channel. Nothing would come from it. So I did a different approach with meta ads, where I would basically take my YouTube content, create a lead magnet from it, like for example, an artifact, then run meta ads to that lead magnet and deliver it in an email with the link to the YouTube video. And that got the right type of people in, because on the lead magnet itself, I made it as a filter for my ideal client, right? So here are your 5 winning ad templates for online education. Then people sign up. They're like, so here are your templates. Watch this video to understand how to use it, right? So the templates themselves are a filter. You only need it if you want to run ads and if you're into online education. And then it directly leads to the video. Plus now I have your email address. So whenever I create a new video, I can push it to you via email and I don't have to pay again. So that is by far the better approach than to just boost something on YouTube or not, because you're first getting the email and then you're giving a highly valuable resource that only gets the right type of people on your thing, and then You send them to the video, it's logically what they want to watch right now, and then you can push all the future videos as well. I want to show you one more thing. This is actually the main reason why I have my free Skool community, is so I can push my YouTube content. So people always say you don't recommend doing a free and paid community, but I see you have a free and paid community. My main funnel is ads directly to my Skool community. And this here is just because I get so much organic traffic from Skool through my profile that I just wanted to have a hub where I can collect their email addresses and put all of my YouTube videos so they can be picked up by AI search. So this is just public. So, and it sorts all of my relevant YouTube videos. And then whenever I have a new YouTube video, I just push post it to this email list. So what you can also do is similar principle, but then you just grow a free community from where you can push your YouTube content. Because what you really want to do is you want to filter for the right type of person, and then you want to be able to push them to your next video, so you increase that average time spent with you on long form content. That's really what we want to optimize for, because that's what builds relationships at scale. All right, so sip of coffee. Well, I'm making this sharp again. And then let me see what we got here from the comments. Oh, hi, Ivy. Nice to see you. Thank you for being up late with me. Yes, true. Hi, Antonella. How's it going? Oh, hey, Lynn. Thank you. Own your choices, yes. And it's hard. It's really hard, but you know, big girl pants. That's what it does, or what it takes. Think also about how many more people your choice allows them to meet. Exactly. How do you do the VIP option? I turned it off, but I see in DMs there is an option to upgrade. Yes, excellent question. So inside of Grow with Evelyn, you actually have a training around this. So this is here in the Magical Money Moves. You see how I made the flash sale, where I basically took away VIP, and it was very profitable. So I do recommend removing VIP like this. And now I always had the VIP open, and in total, people would take only 18% premium or VIP. When I removed the VIP, sorry, 13%, no, 18%. And then when I removed the VIP, I had 23% taking the premium. So more people would take the premium than premium and VIP combined, and the overall conversion rate went up. So it was good to not always have it. Plus, now I also have the opportunity to really communicate it as an offer, because if you think about it, it's an insane deal. You save 50%, you get lifetime access to these courses. So it's a really, really good deal. But because it was always living there, there was no urgency around it. And removing it itself improved the conversion rate, because it made it, I think, easier, less overwhelming. And now I can use it as a limited time offer. So when people are joining Grow with Evelyn, they once a month later get that opportunity once to unlock the VIP. And in general, the plan is to roughly open it to the public once a quarter with like a special carrot, right? So it could be like a special workshop day with me, or it can be a bonus that I'm adding there. It can be a course that I transition to lifetime in there. So thinking about a special carrot and a limited time window, right? Letting people know it will happen with a post, then eventually have it happen the day after, give them 2 more days, and then have another email push that it's, you know, now 72 hours, and then have another one where it's like last day in the community, and then taking it away again for roughly 1 quarter-ish. I will do this irregularly, and I will typically do it to celebrate something. So for example, now we just hit 2,800 members, which would have been something I could have celebrated, but I first want to do the next traffic challenge. So what I'm now thinking is I'm waiting until I had 1,000 signups in 30 days, and then I can use that as celebrating the first time hitting 1,000 signups in 30-day window. with opening the VIP. And as a special bonus, everybody who joins now not only gets 50% off, not only gets a lifetime access to the courses, but also gets a full ad setup day with me where we're setting up your first target cost campaign, and I give you the ad formats that unlock the scale for me, and we're building it out together, right? So now I have a really attractive, relevant offer for a limited amount of time, and I know I can convert a lot of the people that are not in premium yet over to premium. That's how I like to handle it. Excellent question. Thank you. Morning, love the artifacts training. Thank you so much. Just really struggling with the tokens when the project gets big. Is there a way to piece the pages together? That's an excellent question. So there's a few things you can do to reduce the amount of tokens, right? So starting fresh chats is a really good idea. But then I would also recommend that you outsource as much as you can, front load it to Gemini or ChatGPT, right? So very often we'll go back and forth on things, and it's all consuming tokens. So we can basically pre-build in Gemini and then give a really good instruction to Claude, right? So for example, I showed this would be a little bit of a longer demonstration, but I just want to show it to you in a nutshell. So if you're struggling with tokens, right? So let's say out of my last YouTube video, I want to create another artifact. So if you have the Claude premium plan, whatever, you don't need to be worried about tokens. I would come here and I would say, what tangible digital products can we create based on this, right? But if I was struggling with the tokens, I would do all of that pre-work in a free AI tool, and I would really use every free AI tool that I can to have it do this pre-work with me. So here, the regular would just be you trying it out, etc., right? You're going back and forth. Versus here, you are prompting it first. Okay, what can we get out? What should this look like? What's the most token efficient way to build it, right? Also with the branding, sometimes you have really, really long branding skill files. So what I would do, let's say, for example, quick reference, interactive artifact, visual aids, navigator maps, a highly visual map to help users navigate a topic or a community, progress roadmap. But what can you create specifically from this video transcript? YouTube to Skool funnel navigator. I actually like this better. Free versus paid offer decision quiz. Video to product extractor. Artifact launch checklist. Goodwill ad copy. 6 principles cheat sheet. Done for you upgrade identifier. So I think YouTube to Skool funnel navigator is great. Okay, let's do this. Now, create a detailed briefing for Claude on how to build out this artifact, right? And so it creates a detailed briefing for you. And then you can say, now optimize it for tokens. And then you can give just that prompt to Claude. And when like I said, with the branding, also really, really try to see if you can reduce your skill file for the branding and just make it as short as possible. So you can see this is a branding skill file from a casino brand we created. And so what I would do with this as well is just go to Gemini or ChatGPT and then say, condense this skill file to 1000 characters without losing the brand identity, right? So that's one thing, reducing size of skill file, doing as much pre-work as you can in other tools, and then really only using Claude for the things it can only do particularly well. So a lot of iterations in the artifact as well, you can take away if you're pre-building somewhere else versus in Claude, right? And so now I would say, please make it token optimized. But I can also, for example, use Gemini and say, can you create a preview for me? So you can play around with the different tools and just try to outsource as much work as you can if you have to be token conscious. Been helping my husband with his Seek Shopify store with his own designs. We started to build an audience through live events. Now I'd like to run ads to the niche. Is that still possible? Yes, absolutely. You just have to understand for e-commerce, your ad setup will be that you will typically identify one best-selling item that is like your self-liquidating offer, right? So it will just bring customers into the door at around break-even-ish. And in e-commerce, the game is also very much an average order value increasing game. So in your Shopify store, try to get plugins that allow for order bumps and additional offers in the checkout, right? So really try to find that best-selling item in the shop, and then think of it as a funnel where you want to offer additional add-ons to increase the average order value. That will be your top of funnel campaign, and you want to really create a lot of creative diversity around that best-selling item. And then you want to set up a retargeting campaign, which is a catalog campaign where you basically retarget warm audiences with the rest of your assortment. That's the strategy for e-commerce, but absolutely possible. People are still crushing it in e-com. I wanted to go through the rapid fire questions first, but since you have to get to work, I can prioritize yours. So just quickly getting the form. And if you can't make it live or you can't stay on, I always timestamp every answer for you as well. So Antonella, I am answering around the 37-minute mark. And let's go through the question. Okay, so there's some personal details as well, like you said, shared in here. So I think what I will do is I will mark this and I will record you a personal Loom and send it as a private message after, okay? And then if you have a follow-up question from there, feel free to send that also through in the chat, okay? So then you don't have to stay on. And we also make sure that, you know, any personal things are kept personal here. It was way easier to decide with only 2 options. Once a quarter, got it. What about once a month? Is that too much for VIPs? We do it actually once a month, but we do it just in the chat. So instead of always pushing the offer to the community and devaluing it with that and annoying members with that, we give every new member the opportunity once a month. So we basically have a secret VIP opening date. My team knows that. And every new member that stays beyond the trial, we let them know about that opportunity and when it comes up, and then they have the opportunity once a month to upgrade. If the customer can predict how often you do the sale, it will remove a lot of the urgency. Yes, 100%. Hey. I went from 140 members last meeting to 225 today. Half of it is from Facebook and doing your group. The other half, my YouTube is blowing up. That's so good. Facebook ads passed the check, annual 875 purchasing point. But after calculating, assuming 30% trial to member, I got to $50 cost per purchase on Facebook right now. I am about 100 to 80 to 100 CCP. Should we run new ads? It's been 7 days. Oh, we're getting low CPMs and cost per trials on tier 1 countries. Not sure if those convert. We'll see if you have any insights. Okay, so the offer is validated with that. Now, what we need to do next, let me just, can you tell me the customer lifetime value that you're estimating right now? So typically we don't want to spend more than 1/3 on that. And also please note that Meta has changed its attribution. So at the moment it's under reporting too. It would be great if you could share the numbers in a post in a community. Give me a quick loom, show me the retention, the customer lifetime value, and then I can go over it and I can say what you need to do. In general, the answer is always, if it's been 7 days, you should test new ads, because that's what ultimately unlocks the profitable scale, is to always test fresh creatives. What is the expected conversion rate from people signing up to a free school from ads, and how do I know if the visitors are bots or real people? Excellent question. So Skool has introduced something that's called AutoMod, and it's basically AI moderator that helps you keep your community clean. So what I do is I just have my community set to auto approve, and then in the free community, it basically approves all of the members it does not think it are a bot. And then the ones it thinks are a bot, it just sends me the member request and I can decline. This really works like a charm. I think I have maybe still 1 or 2 bots per month coming through, but it has been like that and more daily. So you don't need to set up AutoMod. All you need to do is just auto approve the members. And if you can do that on the premium plan, instant approval. If you don't have the premium plan, you will see member requests just like you did before. And then whenever somebody has this, you just don't approve them, you just decline them. Okay. So that's to the part about the spam. Now for the conversion rate, it depends. Typically from a free group, a conversion rate is basically low to non-existent unless you have an upsell process in place. And so what I would do is I would try to have the pro plan. I would turn on instant approval. I would send them an automated message that guides them to a welcome post where they can see where they can upgrade. And then I would personally follow up and start a conversation and be like, hey, thank you so much for joining the community. What are you looking for? And if you can help them, be like, oh, this is exactly what I help people with in my paid community. Would you like to learn more about that, right? Or I make an offer to every new member. If you're joining that community within the next 48 hours, I'm unlocking this special course for you, or you get a one-to-one call with me, etc. So you do need to have a sales process in place for free to paid community immediately after people join, but then also have some sort of clean the plate event. So for example, you could go live once a week, and then at the end of the live, pitch into the paid community, or a call, right, if you're selling a high ticket, and then once a month, like a bigger conversion event. That's really how the free to paid funnel works. And then you can get a quite good conversion rate. But in my case, like I said, I use the free group as an email list. And for me, doing the manual DMs and upselling is less profitable and more time consuming than ads to my paid community directly, which is why I do that. How do you handle the technical side of opening the VIP only for a new member at one point? Do you do it manually when they are physically ready to purchase by their computer? So we let them know when it will happen, and then we're opening up during that day, and then we're closing it again. And if somebody should happen to see it that are coming from an ad, then they can purchase it, and that's fine for us. Our trial to member conversion rate is 47%. That's really high, really good. That's really good. Mine is a little bit higher at the moment. So let's see where my trial conversion rate is. So 38, 35, 37, 38, 37, 40. So you have a super, super healthy trial conversion rate. 30% is more typical, but if it's right now 40%, 47%, that's amazing. It means that what you offer very, very well matches what you communicate on the ad. Absolutely, Iris. I am prioritizing it now and answering around the 45-minute mark. Yeah, thank you. I will have a free workshop next week in order to sell my fondant course. Do you have any recommendations for workshop funnels in 2026? Has anything changed to your content in Almost Evergreen? My workshop is going to be a one-time workshop, not evergreen. My ads have been running for 24 hours, and so far my cost per lead is 85 cents. That's good. Would you recommend to only give the gifts, a recipe, a workbook, a guide, to those who attend live, or would I give some gifts to everyone who's registered and a few specific ones only for those who attend live? So from the workshop process, nothing has changed. I would still do it the same way, and I would also make the workshop in the same way. I now just generate my slides with Claude instead of creating them manually in Canva. So that's really the only thing that changed about the workshop itself. Now, for giving gifts live versus giving, I would probably give some live and some to everyone who is registered. And I would probably pick the workbook as the additional live one, and the other one to everyone who registered. Or what you could also do is, probably I would do it like this. I would say that the workshop and the replay are available live and then for 24 hours. And I would embed the workshop replay on a page and have the gifts linked below that. So you let people know if you want the gifts, if you want the workshop, it's free live, and then for 24 to 48 hours, whichever one feels better for you. And then have the gifts on that page as well. So you're not sending the gifts out as an email. So whenever they're ready to read the email, right? So they really have to go there, consume the workshop, download the gifts, and below that, see again the offer for the fondant course. So if you want to think about it, it's like you duplicate the sales page of the cake course, and on top you have the workshop replay, the resource links, and then the limited time offer below that. So you're driving everyone to the sales page, and you're not punishing people that can't make it live, but everyone has the same 24-hour window. That's probably how I would do it to get also the most out of it and be the kind of fairest to people. I mean, conversion in times of signups. I had 1,000 visitors from ads, but only 2 people signed up to join the free school. Okay, something is really wrong. If you're running ads, you probably run a traffic campaign and not a sales campaign optimizing for complete registration. And if you are using organic traffic, then you have low quality traffic. So the message you're sending on organic and what people expect to see on that community about page do not match. Hi, Amanda. How's it going? I launched my flash sale 72 hours on annual VIP yesterday. I'm wondering if you would suggest making the new tiers after a premium annual without one-to-one, but a steep discount. Yeah, I think it's okay to take out the one-to-one. Or a monthly one-to-one VIP option that I don't show on plans and only invite people to privately via DM. I think you can do both. You can also play with it. You can have a VIP that is the VIP of the community, and then you can have a VIP that is a one-to-one with you. And when you change the prices. Oh, because the one-to-one then would also unlock that level for them. No, scratch that. I do love my VIPs, like the one-to-ones that I have, because they really give me a lot of ammunition for the content. However, the setup I have in Growth Evelyn is much more scalable. So if you can make the scalable setup work, I feel you will be a really, really happy camper. So do the scalable setup. You can use the one-to-ones as a limited time bonus, right? So you can say, have the 72-hour opening. Everyone who purchases within the first 24 hours also gets a monthly VIP with me, right? So you can kind of add that on top if you want to. So you're not overloaded. And then once you have those VIPs full, so you have just enough people that you work one-to-one with, so you're not losing touch of what people need. So I would only offer it to so many people, so I have that. And then I would go to the more scalable option, which would be to just have the VIP for the community. Claude says lifetime value average is 123 with 6 months of data. And right now our cost per purchase comes out to 80 to 100. Yeah, we're too expensive. Your offer is validated, but we need to get the cost down. And typically we do that through in-school offers. So I would probably stop the campaign and try new in-school offers, or lower the amount you spend by the campaign and just keep that on a really low flame. Test new offers and new ads in a new campaign, and then consolidate the ones that get purchased in there. You're right now having a too high cost per purchase to really keep scaling it, but you can consider the offer validated. Now the next step is to make more in-school offers to scale more profitably. I wouldn't do that. You now have the front-end offer validated, and that would basically, sabotage your pipeline. So that's not the right problem to solve for. Yes, so let's get the next one. Make it for me. I think we're the 3D printing, right? Let me see which one you had. Did you submit a question in here, or did you do it under the posts in the community? Let me see. 52-minute mark. I don't see your question here. There you are. Answering around the 52-minute mark. I'm letting 100 people beta test my first course for free. They are aware the course will eventually be paid. Question, should I change the setting for the community to a freemium, or is there a better way to do this? So you're thinking about how to then convert the course to paid. What I would do is I would set clear terms with them, right? And say the first 100 people can go through my course for free until date. After that, I'll turn it paid. So what you do is you just keep your community free. And then once you are ready to turn the course paid, right, you just go in here and you switch. Sorry. So your community is free and you just have this open until date. And after date is done, you say buy now and you put a price. And from there, people will have to pay for it. Now, what you can do when you make it paid is you say, you were my 100 beta members, right? I'm going to give you 48 hours to buy it at a 50% discount before I get it to the normal price, right? And then saying also on social media, on your platforms, I had 100 people going through this course. Right now, for the next 48 hours, I'm giving them the opportunity to sneak it 50% off. I'm extending this to you, but you have to be really, really fast. So it can be a really good push into the course as well. That's how I would do it. I submitted a 1-sentence question this time and I have 15 minutes. Yes, okay. I hope this is not too late. I think we should still be there. And I will answer it around the 55-minute mark. Where are you? Let me see. I think this is you, Lovely, right? Yes. Seems like it. What are your best practices to get members that logged in once or twice come back to Skool? That's a really, really good question. The two best things are, let me show you this here. YouTube content that you have in this style of post. So I'm just gonna tag this here. So it's the title of your video, like really, really enticing. And then you basically have the hook that pulls them in. In this video, I show you how to do this. Here's what's inside, 4 curiosity points. And then watch it here. Here is your video guide, which is then an artifact. So that and doing this as a push post. So which means you're toggling on to send it as an email. That works extremely well for getting people back into the community. Plus, the next is, hey, do you want to have this? I just put together this amazing resource, right? Comment below and I send it your way. And that also as a push post with a mock-up image. So I'm going to give you the Claude skill for it. And I'm also going to show you where you can find the mock-up. I'm not sure if this is the right one. For the Skool YouTube post. So mockups, you just use these. And then it's just an artifact that you bring back. So those are the two best ones. Artifacts. In the artifacts, you also have the video artifact, right? So you can create the video that brings them back a little bit easier. That is the video guide template. That's what I use in all of the YouTube videos. And any other of these you can use to create the free resource. Then you mock it up pretty, right? Or you just send the video. So video post skill. Produce the skill here for done. Okay. The lifetime value is 123. My trial conversion rate is 30% inferior. My cost per purchase should be below 37. Okay. Sorry, I was reading it that your cost per purchase is 80, but I set 50 as a threshold. Is that realistic? Yes. Yes, and that's really, really good. So if you can acquire them for 50, you're a little bit on the higher side. Ideally, I want to see a maximum that you spend 1/3 of your customer lifetime value to acquire a customer. So I don't want you to see you spend more than $41 net to acquire a customer. As long as you're not over that, we can keep scaling the campaigns. But in general, more offers for your in-school, more ads to grow more profitably. Thank you. If tiers had existed when you started Skool, would you still have your $8 tier and your 99, or would you still have them $33.99? I might do a lower tier again, if that answers your question. There is nothing like a mini membership, guys. I don't know. I keep coming back to this. Need to show you this. I mean, churn on mini memberships is almost non-existent. It's so easy to create a lot of value. Like here in this AI online educators group where I do some of my Claude and AI work, the monthly recurring revenue is great. The retention is great. Like there's nothing like a mini membership also for, it's like having a paid email list. So I'm thinking about ways to getting back to it. And what I'm thinking about is for Grow with Evelyn, a tier where there's only the community and a cookie jar with templates, and then the traffic challenge, everything stays in the $33 tier. But the $33 tier alone was so good, right? All of my community growth happened when I did the traffic challenge and then decided to add the lower tier. What happened is that not fewer people purchased the 99, same amount of people, if not more, purchased the 99, and all of those people purchased the $33 tier. So I'm a huge fan, and I'm trying to get back to that original structure even more. I really, really think you should be good. I just want to see like a community post where I see a rundown of your numbers. Tag Rafi and tag me so we can make sure we're giving you the right advice. If a menopause specialist who currently charges one-to-one high ticket, I'm a menopause specialist who currently charges one-to-one high ticket. I'm also a business coach doing done for you webinar funnels. Oh, very cool. Should my membership be on menopause coaching or help scale webinars? So I think the scaling webinars is a perfect high ticket offer. And I think you might be able to just sell it really well with a self-liquidating offer leading into a call. You could do a free community around the webinars from where you get your high ticket clients. So I think that you can use a community funnel to fuel the higher priced one. If you truly want a membership business, where you have that typical, you charge a low monthly fee and you really monetize the community, the menopause topic lends itself much more to that. So I think for both, Skool is a great solution. For the webinar, I would mostly use it free community to sales calls, typical community funnel or group funnel. And if you really want to have a community with a membership that's low price but high monthly recurring revenue, I think the menopause angle lends itself a lot more to that, and also can ascend beautifully into your high ticket one. Makes so much sense. My scalable setup work and using one-to-one from time to time as a flash sale component. Awesome. Love it. Got it. Okay. But your average lifetime value is 123, so you cannot spend more than a third. So your target cost on the meta ads should be $41 or below. Tier model have a plans page where you can stack features. Subscription model doesn't have the plan page. Do you think for that reason a tier model could convert better? I don't necessarily think that the conversion is in the page itself or sabotaged by the page itself. I think it is giving structure to the needs of different audiences. So for example, if I'm now thinking about adding that lowest tier for Grow with Evelyn, I right now have my free community restricted for posting. So it really truly only is a hub for my, like as an email list, right? And that's good because I want to be able to have that opportunity to have some sort of more access to me with the opportunity to ask questions, etc., only in the community. And if I then added a few helpful resources, that would make a great $7 tier for somebody who just wants to be in my world, but they want to do it for, a monthly cost that does not hurt them in any way. So it's, if you think about it, it's a different avatar. It's somebody who wants to have some proximity, but it should be really, really affordable, and they want to dip their toes before they take the next step. The $33 is, the ideally, and what I'm trying to build with the next traffic challenge with the dashboard is, it's your full process, right? So it's like a guided program, and it should really be like this ongoing challenge program we do together that is more carved out as a program. And then the 99 is just to have more access to the team, to me, the opportunity to ask your questions, and lifetime access to some resources. So even if you cancel, you always be able to tap into those resources. So I like to use the tiers to think of like, who are the different buyers, and can I have an offer that's a good fit for all of them? And I might even have some sort of referral set up into somebody who is charging and teaching high ticket for people who want to learn and do high ticket, and who want to have the quality of a high ticket offer. But I want to set the boundary that I don't want to do that in growth, Evelyn. I don't have the expertise about it either. So the tiers is more about you increasing conversions, because you can have different offers for different segments within the audience, and you can give them just what they need for the right price, right? Because some people, if when I only had the $99 price point, they just liked the community, but $99 a month was too much to just, enjoy the community and be in my proximity. So it's more just having the right offer at the right price for the right type of person in the audience. And that's what increases the conversions, is that it's a good fit. And with that, it also increases the retention, right? Because people could up or downgrade depending on what their need is right now. I think that's the power, true power of the plans, not that it's, a on-page conversion hack in any way. All right. In-Skool offers like artifacts, exactly. In-Skool offers like a new classroom, a new resource, like an artifact, for example. So for example, Grow with Evelyn is really a little bit exploding right now. So I'm very excited about that, because I, for the first time, really unlocked target cost campaigns. And I unlocked the target cost campaigns with the new offers in here. So the Artifacts Kickstart course and the sales page course, they gave my ads a lift, and now I am able to tap into cheaper ads where I can spend more. So you can see this was my best sign up day so far, was 55 members in one day. And that's what I mean with the in-Skool offers. And I'm advertising, for example, this course right now, but also within this course, I can pick up all of these things, and I can say, hey, do you need to have a mini course for your Skool community? I have a template that allows you to build it out really, really quickly, right? So it's the bakeries and the cookies that we advertise that allow you to lower your cost per acquisition, because it's another offer into your community and another offer into your community. All right, thank you. It all comes back to YouTube. I really need to work on my channel. YouTube is such a big component. And, I always say that to people. I always want to show my stats there and kind of give like a cautious warning here. So, sorry. Now I posted it. If I was to look at this, just from how many signups did YouTube drive, I would be like, oh, 906 signups and only 17 came from YouTube. I should not do YouTube, right? It's a waste of time. But it's not, because I know so many people that, they saw me on an ad, then eventually they checked out my YouTube channel, then they watched 5 videos, and then they bought through the free Skool community, which then gets attributed to Skool Network. So customer journeys are complex and long, and YouTube really is such a backbone for everything and all of the things we do in the community, and also for the retention. So I think, if the sooner we can add it and build up that habit of at least once a week, a quality piece, the better. It really is the pillar that carries so many other things that allow you to move so quickly. I can attest to this. I have an $8 tier and retention is 99%. Yeah, it's absurd. It's absurd. And because it's so easy to deliver $8 worth of value. If you think about this, it's so easy, right? Once a month, a true quality resource. That's it. And how nice is this, right? Like I said, I do see that there is a market for high ticket. There are buyers that want it. There are people that can sell it and deliver it beautifully. It does make sense for certain people. And so does having a $7 community where you have 1,000 people and zero pressure on the, very, very little pressure on delivering. So I'm absolutely a fan of it. Is the very low tier for the free trial too? It does apply to freemium, right? Yes. So when you set the free trial, it goes for everything. But I just think that's an advantage for me again, because I want people to just be in my world. I know the right people, once they see what I have in Grow with Evelyn, they're lifers. Like I have this happening so many times where, people are lurking and then they finally get in and then they're like, okay, I'm never leaving. Like that's it. Because you really have to experience it, I think, from the inside. And so $7 and free trial, the risk is so low for people to just check it out, that I'm not worried about that whatsoever. And that type of person that just goes in and downloads everything and then disappears within the free trial, that's never my type of person. Like they will not thrive in my community and they will not find success with my models because they don't come from a mindset of generosity and kindness and reciprocity. So I cannot even help them. They're not a good member for me. I'm not a good mentor for them, and they're not a good member for me because they operate from a very different worldview than I do. So my methods will not work for them. If you have like that scarcity mindset, and if you don't have that reciprocity, right? So I don't ever see myself signing up for a $7 thing and downloading everything and then canceling it as fast as possible. I would never do that. And my person, that is truly my person, they also wouldn't do that. So you will have that occurring, but it's basically just people self-selecting that they are not the ones who should be in your space. Hope that makes sense. Second, Evelyn, my mom is in menopause coaching program and selling high ticket is very difficult. Thank you for sharing. You don't have a limit. See your ranking in organized search. Self-improvement, my goal is to get to 100 rank consistently. So guys, this will change a lot. And I would focus more on growing the community than on the engagement piece. That's the only thing that I would say is like I would really focus on improving my community offer and the things that live inside the community that help people get results and package them right on the front end and really drive traffic to my school, then to focus on the engagement in the community to rank up. The discovery will change completely. And so just focusing on the engagement to rank up right now, will be good for another month, but then ultimately you will have to change strategy. And the biggest thing that I can tell you is focus on your growth. And focusing on your growth will also improve the community itself because you have more members coming in more frequently, showing and reaffirming that your community is in demand. To get more members in, you have to improve the things that are inside so that they're clicking for cold traffic. So you have to imagine them as attractive as possible. And because that's the thing that you promise, you also have to build it in the best way, which means that your members get super well productized and packaged content that then they actually will consume because they're more excited and make more progress because they're actually consuming the thing. And so your members get better results. They'll use the community more. You will have more momentum and it will be this upward spiral because you're getting more signups every day as well. That's what I would want to focus on right now, especially also knowing that the algorithm on Skool will change. So fully focus on that community growth and on getting in as many people as possible from the quality resources and offers and solutions you're creating and offering inside. That's the biggest tip that I can give you right now if you want to rank up now and in the future. Yeah, I hope so. Vibe coding is significantly harder than I thought. Oh, I get humbled big times here. Very, very, very big time. Say you start from scratch. How would you scale a $7 and $9 per month membership to 30 to 100K MRR once you validated product to market fit and have your first 500 to 1,000 members? Honestly, if you are at that point, you have product to market fit, all you have to do is hammer the ads from every angle. Include more things in your Skool community. Everything you include is an offer you pull to the front end, and you stack that into your sales campaigns. If you want to unlock the most scale for the cheapest price, you're testing and trying to scale in target cost campaigns. So this is where you set on the campaign level that you're optimizing for cost per result. Then you put that cost per result goal 30% less than you actually want to pay on the ad set level, and then you keep stacking your ads in there. So you just need to aggressively test and aggressively add to your community. All right, so let's catch a couple more questions from our one-liners. I need a sip of coffee, sorry. I have time today, so don't worry. I think I'm gonna be able to answer many of them. Okay, so 1 hour, 15-minute mark. How do I build a successful challenge funnel into my coaching container? I absolutely love this question. The best thing would be to actually go through the challenge creation course and do that. So build the challenge according to this. If you're doing it on Skool, you can just advertise the challenge as what's inside your Skool. And if you want to use it to fill up your coaching container, you just would want to have a free Skool community, right? Where people can go through the challenge, and then you invite them from day one. If you want more support with the challenge, you can buy. I would probably do what's the easiest for me to fill up coaching containers is when I offer complimentary WhatsApp support, right? So I would do this for really, really affordable cost. So for example, the challenge is free. If you want accountability through the challenge for $7, I'm holding you accountable on WhatsApp and helping you every single day of the challenge to really get through. They booked the $7. Now they're on WhatsApp with you. Now you help them implement, and whatever breaks the scope of I'm holding you accountable, you can be like, well, so this is how this works. Here's how you get unstuck with this. We should work this out in more detail. What I can offer you is 50% discount on my session. We can jump on Zoom and we can work on this together. I can help you with this, right? I can coach you through this. That's, I think, the easiest to use a challenge to fill a coaching container. If the main goal is really to fill the coaching container. If the goal is to build a community, then you would want to charge for the challenge itself. But that's basically how I would set it up. And if you don't want to run it through Skool, just use the AI sales page kit to build a sales page for the challenge. But probably you would want to deliver the challenge in a Skool community anyway to keep it simple and to really have that engagement, and also to be able to connect with them in the Skool DMs, right? So as soon as they're signing up for the challenge as well, I would reach out to them. I would be like, here's how you dive in, etc. By the way, you have this opportunity of me holding you accountable. Here's how you can book the WhatsApp support. And the WhatsApp support would just be a classroom. And then I would also have, 7-day WhatsApp support. Then I would have one-to-one coaching, 90 minutes for like a regular price in there. So people could buy it, but they also are price anchored as into what your price is. And when you offer that session to them in the WhatsApp support, you can say, usually my session is, and they see it in the community, but I want to offer you this because I think I can really help you get over this hump. And once you have somebody once on a coaching session, you can, upgrade into a package, or you can also upgrade into a monthly retainer. This mini boutique coaching is like my favorite. I charge $297 for 90 minutes a month. They can split it into two 45-minute units, and I have minimal WhatsApp support in between those. And that's that like monthly touch point. They really love this, and it's a very easy to sell container, and it stacks up from the monthly recurring revenue quite conveniently. So that's just what I would consider as in like, how do I upgrade them and how do I build my boutique coaching practice, basically. Excellent question. Let's get another one at the 1 hour and 19-minute mark. So I do 2 more here and then I come back to the chat, okay? Next one. Having worked with so many small business owners, what patterns do you see in how their thinking and actions change when they successfully go from $1,000 to $10,000 monthly recurring revenue? I think once they start to trust the process and they're capable of working the process, I think that's what changes. It's like they have now viscerally felt it working. So they know there is a process to it and they know that they just have to work the process deliberately enough to get there. So I think the biggest shift is that they start to trust it's possible and then they show up like they trust that it's possible. So they don't dabble in and out anymore. It's not as much like shiny objects anymore. Once that really clicks, typically people log in. So it's usually when there's some type of scarcity removed, right? So it's like they feel financially a little bit more secure. That really helps. But then also, I think once, I don't even know if it's the $1,000, $10,000. I think once they have found the trust in the process, then they change and then everything changes for them. I think that's the biggest thing is like once they really, truly, deeply trust the process. Nadia, okay, so answering around the 1 hour, 21-minute mark. I started running an ad yesterday, $22 spend on 11 offer, and I got my first sale. That's amazing. How many conversions do I need to see before I know this is actually working? What's the benchmark you're using? So typically I say 1 to 2 times the price of the front end offer, which you did, and at least one sale in 3 days. So to me, this is validated. A stranger is willing to give you money for it. It has a pulse. It is alive. We now need to see, is it something we need to optimize because your average cost per purchase is still too high, right? Then we can work around different messaging, adding different bonuses to the offer and the positioning of the offer itself. So we will now need to see, based on the actual final cost per purchase that you have on average after the first 72 hours, if it's an offer that needs to be optimized or if we can go to scaling right away. So we will see this after a little bit more time. If it's an offer to optimize, it still has a pulse and you can still optimize from there, right? So it is definitely not dead. It is something that has a pulse, and either we can scale it directly or we need to optimize more around it. Plus, also now that you know how the process works, test more offers like this, right? So typically when people is like, oh, I found a thing, now I need to get that thing to work. It's like, now you know the process, keep doing that process and also see if you can make what you have right now more efficient. But you want to keep testing because eventually you'll find something that right out the gate, you don't have to optimize, it just clicks. And those are your unicorn product to market fit things where really one offer can add $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 monthly recurring revenue. And I know it sounds insane, but it happened to me multiple times in the journey, happened to quite a few of our members, right? And you have to only be right once and your membership is set, because then you actually have the monthly recurring revenue to keep reinvesting, to be able to tolerate a longer payback period. You have the social proof, you have the members as a source for new offers. Once you have that offer that gets you over the initial hump, you're set from there, unless, some people still screw it up because they get shiny object syndrome or whatnot. But keep testing new offers as well as trying to optimize this offer. So you got the process, which is the most important thing. All right, so Lucy comes after, but let's see a few more questions in the chat here for now. Okay, this one I answered. Oh, wow. So then 8, 33, 99, rather 8 and 33. I will do 7, probably, 33, and 99. And then I would test if I always have the 99 even open, because it might be necessary for us to keep the quality up to actually limit the premium spots. Something that I'm still considering, but you see the Q&As get really long. And I'm thinking it might be a good idea to actually put like some sort of limit around the premium and improve like the quality there. So that's along the lines where I'm thinking I need to test it. Do you have 8-day time unlock on certain courses? I have, but I wonder if it's a good idea. Maybe I should open everything up for the free trial. I open everything up. I just love I'm just putting it out there, and I trust the right people will reciprocate. That always worked the best for me. It's also, if you're now thinking about that energy level of it, if I get someone in and then it's like, I trick you because only if you stay after this, then you get that. I don't know if I want to, that's me footing the relationship super hyper transactional, if you think about it. So it's actually, if I start the relationship so transactional, can I then be mad if people see the relationship so transactional? Right? So I think it's like, are you sending out the thing that you want to receive back from members? That's how I like to think about it. That's wonderful. Your engagement is already 100%. But what counts right now for the engagement for you to rank up is the activities in your group. So right now it's a little bit of a mixture of different things. But one thing that's factored in right now is your daily activity levels, right? So the higher these are consistently, the higher you currently rank up as well. It's definitely a big factor, not just the engagement level here, although this is also important. Hi, Evelyn. Should I recently started my Skool community and planning doing YouTube for conversions? Should I do ads as well? I think you should at least do ads to validate your offer so it can also guide your content program for YouTube. And just validating the ads, the community offer, and then you can always have the ads running on a low flame as well, just to also retarget people who come from your YouTube channel onto your Skool community. Have you ever tried YouTube, Pinterest, Google Ads? If so, what are your thoughts? I've tried all of them. YouTube, Google Ads are basically the same. It's like a placement within there. That's not the right word, but you select it through the Google Ads Manager. And I've also tried Pinterest Ads. Pinterest Ads was not successful at all. I know that they can be wildly successful for templates and stuff like that. When I tried them, I think 3 years ago, I was able to get conversions for my offers around like $70 to $100, where I would get the same conversion on Meta for like $20. So for me, it was not worth it. But that does not mean that it's not, worth trying. I just think that with Meta ads, we have such a good opportunity, and I would not add another paid acquisition channel before I've not optimized the first one. It takes me a while to create courses artifacts. I would have to slow down YouTube production to properly finish a mini course. But if you watch my latest YouTube video, you'll see it does not take you a long time to create the artifacts at all. You basically just take your YouTube transcript and you create it from there. So I think if you have YouTube production, you can easily create the artifacts from there. And then, even in the latest YouTube video that I shared with you guys, I show also the using it as a free resource path that also works really well on the ads. So I think you might check out this YouTube video, the YouTube funnel that grows your Skool automatically. I think you might overestimate how long it takes you to create the artifacts. Just check this out. Obviously, I don't want you to slow down your YouTube production whatsoever, but check out and see if this is not a faster way than you think. How do you keep up with AI to help you create resources to add to your community? AI moves so fast. That's so true. I try to learn every single day about it, and I try to use it every single day. And I try to really push myself to say, is this something I can automate? Is this something that I should learn? And I also try to consume different channels and different perspectives. And I try to pay attention to the industry layer a lot as well. So I try to pay attention to what is happening on the industry level. So for example, that now I think, is it Copilot? I think from Microsoft, one of the tools they just changed, they blocked all new subscribers and now they're charging you token based. And so the companies are obviously overspending and subsidizing our subscriptions. So I'm paying attention to that and I'm like, it will get more expensive sooner. So what does it mean for what I need to learn and what I need to build? What I think what it means for what I need to learn is I need to learn how to create local AI. And I think what it also means, what I need to build is I need to build my templates in a way that students can modify them without having to use AI. Because it might be that soon most of my students will not be able to afford enough AI anymore to efficiently work with these tools. So I try to pay attention to the industry layer, and that guides what I believe I need to build and learn. And I try to not as much like this is the new tool, or so I try to not get too much lost in the hype, but try to look at the industry layer and from there say, what do I anticipate I need to learn and build so I can keep driving in the environment that's out there. So I very much try to not get too lost in the sauce of learning like all the things. I try to conceptually understand all the things and then learn the things that are my bets for the future. I believe it will get more expensive because the companies are already subsidizing our plans. So for example, the Cloud Premium plan that I have is like 300 Canadian dollars or something. I spend on that, as they estimate, $2,000 to $3,000 worth of tokens. So that is something that the companies will not be able to keep giving us because they will eventually run out of capital, right? None of them is profitable. All of them will have to keep raising money. And Anthropic is trying to IPO, so their numbers need to look a certain way. Their business models need to make sense. And so they will have to find a solution. And I don't believe at the current state, I don't believe that they will be able to make it so much more efficient fast enough, right? So it does not mean that I'm right about this, but from everything I've read, that's my working hypothesis, is that it will eventually have to get more expensive. And when I look in my communities, I'm also listening to my communities. For a lot of my members, getting the Claude Pro subscription is already a stretch, right? Because there's so many tools. They have the Skool subscription, and then they have the cloud subscription, and then they maybe have an email tool or whatnot. It stacks up relatively quickly, especially if you're not earning from your community yet. And then you should also have an ad budget, and then you also pay for Growth Evelyn, and then maybe you also joined another community because you had shiny objects. No, I think you guys know what I mean. So the $20 is already a stretch. What if they would have to charge $100 to make it viable? Then a lot of my members will not be able to use the Pro at all anymore. And then with the free, it will take them 5 days to customize an artifact. Well, then they're faster again laying it out in Canva. So that's why I will need to build tools that will allow them to modify my templates even without access to the API. That's my working hypothesis that I have right now. Or certain things, if I templatize things well enough, a dumber local AI might also be able to do what I want to do, and then I can use more expensive AIs for like edge cases where I really need a smarter model. That's like what I'm thinking right now and what I'm mentally preparing for and what I'm learning about. But I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just looking at the overall landscape, and I try to anticipate where things are going, and I try to anticipate based on that what are the things that I need to learn to keep growing my business and keep being of service of my community. What is your cost per purchase for Growth, Evelyn? Absolutely, I can share it with you. So I actually am making a YouTube video about this because Meta is changing its attribution, and it's already rolled out on most of the accounts. Meta is now attributing less of purchases to the campaigns because it changed what it defines as a click. So only true link clicks will be attributed back as purchases in 7 hours. The engagement and the clicks of opening the ads, etc., that has now a 1-day engagement attribution about this. So the purchases actually look more expensive in Meta because they don't attribute all of the purchases here. It's still counting all of them. It's still using it to optimize, but the cost per purchase that you'll see in your dashboard is on average higher than your actual cost per purchase. So right now, my cost per purchase is roughly my average monthly recurring revenue per member, because my blended between the 33 and the 99 is $45 at the moment, right? So last month it attributed here 600 purchases. And when I then look in Grow with Evelyn, I use, just like we also use for Skool, I use a blended cost per purchase to assess if I can keep scaling my ads or not, right? So first we need to calculate the average order value with our retention, right? So I'm basically just show you this here. I like to use Perplexity for this. My average monthly revenue per member is $44. You also have to be careful. If you did price increases in the future like I did, then when you look into your unit economics, your actual average revenue per user looks lower than it is, because I still have a lot of people that are on the $8 plan, $19, so they're on lower plans, but it factors in all of the members. Sorry. So I need to manually track every month how many people signed up for the standard plan versus the pro plan to get my actual revenue per member. And then I say my average revenue per member is 44. My retention is 89%. What's my customer lifetime value? So customer lifetime value from there is $400 for a customer. And I compare this number with my blended cost per trial. So I spent a total of 28,000 euros. What is in USD? 33. And then we have this divided by 906. I could just do this in Excel, actually. So with that, it's for $33 cost per purchase. Oh no, $37 cost per purchase, and my trial conversion rate is 40%. That's my cost per trial. My trial conversion rate is 40%. What's my actual cost per purchase? And CAC to LTV ratio. So my actual cost per acquisition is $92, and my lifetime value to customer acquisition ratio is 4.3 to 1, which I'm happy with. Okay. I hope that made sense. At what point do people get fed up of seeing your offers on Facebook ads? I have 2 offers that are SLO and converting. They usually don't get fed up, and the ones that do get fed up, they will stop seeing your ads eventually if you don't react to it. How often do you have to change your offers as Facebook ad offers? How many offers can you put out? You can put out as many offers as you want. You will potentially want to turn off the offer if it starts to get unprofitable, or then you just lower your spend until you're profitable again, and then if you're profitable, you can try to increase it again. The longest I had one single offer running on Meta ads was, it's still running, it's 3 years now. So you know, if you have an offer that works, it's a while. I currently have 2 campaigns running since 4 days, spent 488, 145 per day, only 6 results. Why are you spending so much? Skool at $9 increased from 5. Should I turn it off? Yes. Why are you having such a high daily budget, my love? If your Skool is $9, your daily budget should be like starting at 20. Right? And then you increase up as you're getting good cost per purchase. No, that's not how it works, sweetie. You're just overpaying Meta. You try to force an elephant through a keyhole. Just let it get the data, grow it from there, okay? Please, my love. Oh, thank you. All right, so more questions, more questions. One hour, 40-minute mark. 40? Yeah, wow. Okay. Jordan answering around the 1 hour and 40-minute mark. Engagement question. I'm running a 21-day challenge, but the engagement is quite low. How can we encourage or motivate people to follow the challenge? Thank you. So what really made a big difference for me in all of the challenges that I ran was when I posted my daily update posts. And I tried to also, whenever I had the opportunity to send a post as an email, I tried to save like my coolest insights for when 72 hours had passed and I could push it out as an email. So very similar answer to how I answered here about how to get people back to the community. It is basically the videos broken down, right? So you also, please look at this one here. It is giving them artifacts built from your work doing the challenge and mocking them up and asking who wants this, push that out as an email. And then the videos, instead of it being a YouTube video, it's an update from behind the scenes of your challenge that you're pushing out as a post written in the style of this YouTube post. Let me just download it for you. Yes, this is the skill that we want to have. So that's what works for me best to bring the engagement back. Plus, I don't know if you saw it, but we also have in the challenge offer itself, early wins feedback, a favor, casual check-in template, behind the scenes post template, encouragement post template. So I would also make sure that you're using those templates from within the challenge to push it a little bit more. Did I not save this answer to Jordan? I did. Okay, next up, 1 hour, 43 minutes. I think this one was done. Catherine. We love Catherine. If you don't know her, check her out. Okay, how do you decide what's too expensive for your conversion ads to decide when to switch them off, especially SLOs? With the SLOs, if they don't lead into, so basically it's the same calculation, right? With the SLOs, you need to see if they're leading into your membership, what's the ratio of people that are leading into your membership. Based on that, what's the average order value in the funnel? What's the percentage of people that are taking your membership? out of those, what's their average RPU, right? What's the RPU? And then what's the retention? So you know the customer lifetime value, and then you compare customer acquisition cost to customer lifetime value, and you decide if that is, if you're getting less than a 1-to-3 ratio, then you're paying too much. So you want to, in the customer lifetime value, at least make $3 back for every dollar you're investing into the ads. Now, with that being said, you also have to, of course, look at your liquidity, right? So if your payback period is getting too long and you cannot cash flow it anymore, then you might need to turn it off sooner than the 1-to-3 customer lifetime value to customer acquisition cost ratio. Can you expand on that? Like, when would you increase ad spend for a $9 per month community, for instance? If my payback period, thank you, is below 1 month, I would always increase, right? Because that means you can grow from cash flow without any constraints. If your payback period starts to get longer than a month, then you need to see what is your customer acquisition cost to customer lifetime value ratio, and is it still healthy? And then you also want to factor in, do you have any cash flow constraints, right? So if your customer acquisition cost to customer lifetime value ratio is better than 1-to-3, and you can afford right now from a cash flow perspective to spend more money, you should do it, because if you don't do it, you lose out on money. If you cannot afford it, you should not do it, because you cannot afford it. So those are the parameters on which you are looking at it. Without lifetime value data yet, would you mostly focus on CAC and the cost of your own bandwidth to decide between offers? Yes, 100%. And I would make a conservative guess on the lifetime value. Super conservative guess. How do you read the results from a cost per result campaign? Okay, excellent question. I'm answering around the 1 hour and 46 minute mark. So this actually changed with Meta. I used to actually go in and I would look a lot. So these are all cost per result campaigns, right? And in fact, you always run a cost per result campaign because you're always optimizing for a result, right? And even in an awareness campaign, you're optimizing for reach, brand awareness, video views. And in a traffic campaign, you're optimizing for link clicks or landing page views or Instagram profile visits, right? So you're always optimizing for a result. I think what you're talking about right now is when we have a sales campaign, optimizing for conversions, right? And then it's either a complete registration or a purchase, which is what we have here. So when I look at a campaign like this, I would typically look at the last 7 days. And then the first thing that I would look at to actually optimize the campaign is just the overall cost per purchase. Because, we used to go in and then we used to sort by the results, and then we would take out, for example, this ad I would have taken out in the past, right? Before we had the Andromeda update, because it would spend too much with no results. Now, all of these ads are working together in a full funnel campaign, and Meta knows where it needs to allocate the budget to get me the most purchases overall. So I would not take it out. In fact, when I'm taking out ads from a campaign right now, it's only once my campaign is full and I have 50 creatives and I cannot fit anything in there anymore, then I would sort it by impressions in reverse. And I will take out the ads that got the least spend and replace it with ads that got purchases, right? So now when I look at these results, I just look at the overall results. Are they within what I want to spend? So here they are higher than what I usually would want to spend, right? So eventually we'll have to cut back on those. So now how would I, for example, cut back on these? This is a target cost campaign. In here, in order to cut back, I'm going into the ad set and I am reducing my tolerance for the results. And I'm careful. I only reduce it by €3 because I don't want the campaign to completely collapse, right? So I'm not touching the budget here whatsoever. I'm just touching it here, and I say I have a lower tolerance for the cost per purchase. And now Meta should adjust. I'm giving it 7 days to adjust. If it still gets me too high cost per purchases, I will lower my cost per result goal even more. And so with the target cost campaigns, you really want to see like what's your ideal cost per result goal where you still get volume, but you're also not overpaying too much. And you see I put $35 and it will spend around this to get a purchase. Thank you. Now with a regular campaign, if I would see that this is too, so for example, this one is good. I'm very happy with this cost per purchase. I'm gonna increase it a little bit because that's the cost per purchase that I want to see. Here, this is too high for me. Now I will also see what today does. Yeah, and this is still very, very high today. I'm gonna go the last 7 days and I'm gonna reduce this budget. You see, I don't look at the ads whatsoever. Okay. I only look at the ads to get an idea for what new creatives I need to do. And I will cut this back relatively aggressively here. And this is also too high for me, but it's not too bad. And I already got a couple sales today. So I will basically look at the progression here now and be like, okay, did it just have like a really bad day or what happened? So that was 55. That was higher here. It was actually a good day or decent day. So I'll just go through the days, and there was a bad day in here to see, what's going on with the campaign overall. And here I see overall it's just too expensive. Even if it's, it seems like it's going to be a good day today, it's just overall too expensive. So I'm going to cut it back by roughly one purchase what it is at right now. So if I look at the last 7 days, 55. So I'm going to go down to 150. Right, so that's how I adjust based on the results, only on the campaign level. Now, do I look at the ads? Yes. But I only look at them to see, okay, what's converting? Where can I do more, right? And so, for example, okay, this format is converting. If you want to fill your school before you launch, I want you in this challenge. So I can make and test more variations of that in a new campaign, where I then look at the campaign overall. If I get no purchases, I turn it off. If I get purchases, but the overall campaign is too expensive, I turn it off and I consolidate the ads that did get purchases into this campaign. And if it's more profitable than the base campaign, I keep it as its own campaign, and then ads from the new campaigns that I test, I might add in those as well. And then every now and then, after you've done this for a few months, you'll have a lot of campaigns and you will want to consolidate all of the ads that are working into the most profitable campaigns at this point. Don't you ultimately reach a plateau though, since ads tend to get more expensive when you spend more? That's not true. When you can scale extremely profitable if you're using target cost campaigns and if you keep making new offers and keep finding new audiences into your offers. I think people don't understand that through offer variety and talking to different audiences and leveraging target cost campaigns, you can scale extremely profitable. It's all about which audiences can you unlock, and most people can unlock new audiences for their school by including new offers that talk to a different segment of the market, but are still a good fit for your overall community. Okay, next I am answering around the 1 hour 53 minute mark. How to decide between running a workshop as a free, almost evergreen lead event with a $87 bootcamp as the backend offer versus a micro tripwire $299 workshop plus workbook plus automated bump to $87. $87 in the funnel can be difficult. So I think in the funnel, everything up until $50 you typically should be very good. Everything above that sometimes can be tricky. What you can do is you can just run it free as a live event. after the live event, test to turn it into a tripwire. If the tripwire works, you keep it as that. If the tripwire doesn't work, you do the live again. So it's just a testing sequence. It's not a this or that. It's first run it live, sell into your thing, right? Then set up the funnel, see if the funnel works. If the funnel doesn't work, do it live again. If the funnel works, scale the funnel. Okay, 1 hour, 54-minute mark. What's the best ad creative testing setups in terms of kinds of creatives, lifestyle, 9 to 6 videos, etc.? So I think the very best way, if you really want to get into testing consistently, is to just make a commitment to yourself and say, how many days per week am I willing to test, right? So let's say you say 2 days a week, I will make new creatives for Meta and I'm committed to testing. Then I would just say my goal for myself is that I need to test on those 2 days, and I will create as many ads as I can create. And then just try to produce as many ads as you can to the dates where you have committed to that. What you can also do is to say, for example, give myself the goal to at least every single day create one ad, right? So what you want to do is you want to get in the creative process, and you want to commit to doing it multiple times a week, because every day you will be in a different mood, you'll have a different angle, and it shows in your creative variety. So I would just make that commitment to say minimum 2 days a week, right? Or if you can, even daily, you're creating at least one ad. And then whenever you're testing, you're putting those together. You don't have to test every single day. You can also just say, I create ads every day, but I only test on 2 days a week. And then see how many creatives that you actually are willing to put out there can you get together. I personally think that's better than to just say, oh, I need X amount of this, I need X amount of that. What you really want to do is you want to think about what's the best way to convey this, right? Or, okay, now I want to make this format. What are all the ideas I have for this format? So it says creative because it truly should be a creative, and you just want to get in the process of creating every day. And the one thing of the traffic challenge that I found was really beautiful when I did the everyday behind the scenes. The more often you sit down to create something, the more natural variety you get, and the more you unlock angles to your offer that you would have never considered, and the better you understand your offer and the better your offer actually gets. So that would just be the goal. Don't think I need this type of creative or I need to stack those and those together. There can be a randomness in it, right? Just always also look at your ads, look at ads in the feed, and just try to have quality ideas and concepts and as large of a variety as you can. Okay, the next one. And it doesn't matter if you have 1 or 50 ads in a campaign. Both can be right. Just go after the quality and start to really build that creative habit. 1 hour, 57 minutes. I feel like there is so much wisdom in the first traffic challenge and probably the second too. Is there any condensed summary of all that somewhere in the classroom that I missed? That's an excellent question. I do have something like this. So on the evolution, the last day here in the second challenge, I have this traffic town insights, and this is consolidating basically all of the lessons, right, for the traffic challenge from all of the days. And so you can go in each of the houses and be like, oh, what's the lesson in here? What's the golden nugget? And then what's the belief shift? And so you can go through every day through all of the houses and see what are all of the little insights, like, oh, ad optimization, what's the decision tree here? What is the belief shift that I have? So I think this is the closest to what you're looking for, Manav. I can't believe I casually have what you're looking for here. Okay, Mercedes is next around the 1 hour, 58-minute mark. If you have been running ads to free community and want to go paid, should you start a new campaign and validate again? Yes, because you need a different campaign. It needs to be a sales campaign, optimizing for purchase, and you want to have the price on your ad creative and in the headline of the ad. If you have a freemium community and we're struggling to get premium upgrades, what would you do? I would take a really close look at my onboarding process, auto DM, getting them to the pinned post that explains to them how to upgrade, personal follow-up with the upgrade environment, weekly conversion events, and big monthly conversion push. You have to work a free and freemium community. You really, really have to work it from a sales perspective. The alternative is going paid, right? So testing different in-school offers and trying to go paid and really turn it into a mini. What was one belief you had to drop about how business should look before things actually started moving? I think my biggest one was my dad always said, so my dad also had his own business next to his job, and I was helping him with that, and I tried to help him with the marketing of that. It was really important to my dad as he was somebody who worked in a bank. They had to go in the suit every day to the bank. It was very honorable. Everything had to be professional. And I think that what held me back for such a long time was that I thought I had to be professional. And what does that even mean? So everything I put out there, it was quite stiff, and I tried to present something that I thought is professional from my understanding of what professional is. And that blocked me so much because everything that didn't match that filter, I felt like is cringe, embarrassing, unprofessional, right? So unprofessional is like the worst thing you can be in the world is unprofessional. And so I think I was quite stuck up on that. And thankfully, I invested in a program that was complete trash. And I just wanted to earn the money back because thankfully, I felt so much shame around losing the money that I felt less shame around not being professional that I got my booty up. So it was just replacing one shame with another, and then eventually I got going. Which reminds me of what Alex says, right? You can source it from everywhere. I definitely sourced it from shame. I did not suddenly wake up and feel good about etc. I made a stupid mistake and I felt so embarrassed about that I wanted to make up for that, and that gave me the energy to ultimately just put myself out there, even if it was not professional. Yeah, that was the biggest one for me. When you were starting out, did you treat your business like a full-time job with set hours or build it around your life? And has the time you put in grown as your revenue has? I have been treating it like a job. But I've not been treating it as a job, as in I start now, I finish now. I was just thinking about it all the time, and I used every minute I had to learn and do something about it. And I'm now putting in less time because my son is older, my marriage is better, and I actually want to spend more time with my family. So now I try to more treat it like a job. It's my biggest passion in life, and I have to consciously walk away from it. I purchased an office, also as an investment, and we're in the process of in the morning leaving the house every day to go to the office and then leaving the work in the office. That's what we hope to do. So I do work less now just because I also need to be more present as a wife and mother. But I'm kind of obsessed with this. So you never had to get me to do it ever. You have to get me to stop it. Because I really like what I do when I'm doing the right things, right? When I was doing the high ticket, that was feeling like a job. So I think there is something to this, to do the things that excite you because you kind of naturally are good at that. And I think Skool offers such a unique opportunity to people to truly monetize who they truly are with their gifts, right? So I'm definitely not everyone's cup of tea, but I can reach enough people who appreciate who I am and what my gifts are to make more than a good full-time living from it. And I think that's the big opportunity with Skool, is you can find a way to get paid to do something that comes really naturally to you and is so much fun for you that somebody really has to pull you away from it. Okay, so 2 hour and really nice questions, by the way. 2 hour 4 minute mark. Is it true that Meta excludes all ads, even remotely related to health, mindset, and wellness from tracking, thereby making lead cost extremely high? Mine are over $20 for a free community because the algorithm can't learn. That is not entirely true. Certain domains associated with certain health issues are flagged as ads that run in a certain category. And with those, you cannot optimize for certain events like purchase or I think complete registration you also can't do, or call I think you also can't do. So that is true that you cannot optimize for certain events, but that does not mean that the algorithm cannot learn. And with your community, which I think is about meditation, you should absolutely not be in one of those categories. And also, if you are, you should not be in one of the sensitive categories with this. And because your domain is on Skool, you're also much less at risk of your offer being flagged as that. So I don't think that you are affected by this. I think it's still the community offer and angle itself. If I was to start my business over, okay. If you start your business over again from zero, what would you build first? Okay, I would first build the community container, right? So it would just be like something like Evelyn's World and whatever it would be about, right? So maybe it would be about eating high volume to lose weight. I would make it like, weight loss with Evelyn. And then I would roughly make the about pitch about here's how you can eat more to lose weight. Okay, I would need to make it compliant and all of that, but I would have like, I need a house first. Skool would be my house. I would make a house. And then I would be like, okay, now I have a house. Now, how do I get people into the party? What is something that I've solved for myself in that? Maybe I have found like how I have how to build my staple recipes. So then I would probably say, let me make a workshop about finding my staple recipes and see if that could be a good angle into my community. Would pre-sell the workshop. If I get too high cost per signups, I would send the people a polite apology and say like, actually there's not enough interest for the workshop, so I am changing what it is, right? So I would run the ad and it's just a free workshop, right? I'd be like, till I have the right workshop topic. Then I would make the workshop free live, and then I would convert it into the first paid thing. And then I would run ads to the workshop in the community. Then I would pull the transcript from the workshop and I would create tangible resources. And then I would run ads to those in the community. And then in the community itself, the content would be me walking the talk of that workshop and showing it and reporting from behind the scenes. And that's how my content would start to fill up. That's literally what I would do every time. And it wouldn't also have to be a workshop. It could also be a mini course I quickly record, or it could also be a challenge that I'd set up. I think the workshop is the easiest to put together. After that, I think the mini course is the second easiest to put together, and the third easiest to put together is a challenge. So challenge I would do once I have a little bit more understanding of what is selling, just because it's a little bit more work to put together. And then just from whichever pillar piece of content that outlines the transformation that I want to walk in the community, I would start to create my in-school offers around that and would just advertise those. So I would basically just create one knowledge piece, which is the workshop, the mini course, or the challenge that establishes the shared path. And then I would create micro solutions. This is my bakery, micro solutions, my cookies to get people into the shared path. And the Skool outside setup, at first I just need it for charging, and then I just optimize the about page to whichever angle works the best, and I let the members guide the development of it. So it's like just taking digital products around a theme, right, and putting them together and putting them in a membership where I can charge for monthly access. And I would always pick something where I'm like, this is the path that I want to walk anyway. And I gave the example because I'm at the moment getting in shape for the summer, and I found that this like eating a high volume thing really, really helps me to stay consistent. So that was just something where I'm like, oh, I wish I knew this sooner, and I'm committed to walking that path. So I would always pick something where I'm super passionate about and I want it for myself, because then I basically get paid to just take people on the journey with me. So I would always pick something that's super sustainable for me. Another thing I could pick right now is I want to learn how to build my own local AI. So I could also make a community around that, right? So, or I'm right now vibe coding my thing for the traffic challenge, and I want to really be a better vibe coder. So I could also make a community around that. So whoever I want to transform into from an identity perspective, I would put that in a community to accelerate my becoming, but then also monetize the byproduct of my becoming. And I think that's why it never feels like work for me, because it's who I wanted to become anyway. It's what I wanted to do anyway. It's what I wanted to learn anyway. Now I'm just learning faster because I'm also role modeling. So I'm holding myself differently, right? I have a different layer of accountability. And because I teach, I process better. So I learn faster and better. All right, time to check in with the chat. How's the chat doing? Is there a way to combine digital products and mini membership without ads and with a free community first, especially in the hobby niche? Where would you start and focus first? You could do what I do just with a free hobby community. You can use the Skool network to get members in, engage in other communities, reach out to people, be found in search with a free community, absolutely no problem. You can host your paid products in there, and you can eventually add a freemium membership there as well. If you do that, if you are choosing organic as your traffic source, you just have to work every member that comes in a little bit more. Just what I said to Kylie as well. The onboarding has to be there. A weekly conversion event has to be there. A bigger monthly push has to be there, because otherwise, it's not going to be viable just from the organic traffic. That's really well said. What's your favorite between these two? Get new members, straight to paid, 7-day free trial, or freemium? Disorder. Straight to paid if you can make it work, 7-day free trial if you can't make it work, freemium if you can't make that work. So straight to paid will always be the best. What kind of weekly conversion event do you think of when you mentioned the freemium school? So I would do a live stream like this, answering questions. And if I don't have questions yet, I would train something. I would do a weekly training. And basically it would be like a mini workshop, mini webinar where we do something together. And I leave that up for 24 hours, right? So I make the post, hey, today I'm live. I'm teaching you this. Download your resource here. Please watch it quickly. It's only going to be up free for the next 24 hours. After that, it's going into the paid tier, into the paid community, right? So I would basically live create the resources with them as a weekly conversion event until I have enough resources and enough members so that I could maybe just do a Q&A. But I would even try to theme the Q&A. Last week I did a Q&A around the transition from free to paid, which got a lot of questions for. So there should be a reason to come to those weekly events. And if it's just a Q&A, it might not be attractive enough for people to show up. So in the beginning, I would just do a training. When are we starting Traffic Challenge 3.0? I'm looking forward to it. I can show you where I'm stuck. I'm almost there. Okay. So what works really well now is, so there were a few things that were really important to me. For example, that you can decide if you want to take weekends off or not, right? And if you want to take other days off, because I need you guys to do the 28 days as a streak. But if you have pre-committed and you're the type that says, I want to take weekends off, that's part of my values, then I wanted to make that possible. And so the whole traffic strategy is also baked in, how you select that. So that was important for me, that that I bring that in. And then you basically, the whole goal is you have a daily dashboard where you always know what to do, and you also get a love note from me when it's like I discovered a new template, or now this part of the training is live, whatever. So that's all working. And then you have, because if you have multiple channels, I also wanted to show you, like, visualize what you're committing to, because I see that that's also a problem. People don't understand how much they're committing to. So really having the tool that allows you to build up that habit, but also plan accordingly, that also already works. So you basically have like all of your activities planned out. The leaderboard works, so that's good. The only thing I'm still stuck on is the whole logic around. So I also have how to set up like your offers and the pricing models, etc. So that was working really well. And then I have a validation process in there where you then can also share your templates back with the community. That's also working. The only thing that I'm now just working out is there's a few edge cases, right? So if you have a freemium community and then you also add an offer in the freemium community as an option funnel, how do the validation rules change and the instructions that I give you? So where it's really challenging right now is sorting all of the potential edge cases so you're not getting any wrong advice in here, basically. That's where I'm right now. And then sometimes I fix something here and then it goes and it changes it. Although I said don't touch it, but then it. So I'm just ironing out basically those kinks, but this is taking me the longest to, what should it tell you, right? If you spend this and then you got 0 signups, then it needs to tell you the right thing for that. Okay. Now, when it says kill, I still need to, what does it mean for you in detail, right? So I think the answer is to guide back to the community a lot and to disclaim it properly. But I just wanted to be handling as many edge cases as it possibly can. So as soon as I have that, I hope it's Friday, but I grew cautious making those promises. What kind of weekly conversion? Oh yeah, we already did that. Make sure friction to produce creative is as low as possible. Yes, good call. When do you start introducing a second tier for a new community? Do you wait until a certain member count? So here's what I recommend. You are building the second tier from the first, and then you're introducing a lower tier. So for example, in Grow with Evelyn, we started at $8. We went to $19, $29, $39, $49, $99. As the value increased, I did price increase launches to also lock in certain amounts of my recurring revenue and to really build out my content. And once I had that $99 tier, I hit a ceiling as in how I can grow with it. So then I said, well, now let me introduce a light version of that, just the traffic challenge and the community in a $33 tier, right? So I did that. Basically, all of the other things are locked. Now we just have the traffic challenge and the lower tier. And now I've grown that to as much as I can, right? And I'll keep growing that. But what happened here as well is filling up, filling up, filling up, filling up. So now that this is super valuable, I can now add a $7 tier and say just the community and the cookie jar. So people think they add the more valuable tier when they actually add a less valuable tier, because you want to have those price increase launches as you go up. That's the flow. Alrighty, so guys, just give me 1 second. I just need to check when I have the next call. Okay, so then we got some time still, and let's catch the next question around the 2 hour and 18-minute mark. What factors go into considering what kind of artifact to create. For example, I'm right now trying to identify the simplest tool to create transformation so they don't get overwhelmed and stop along those lines. I think trying to pre-plan it, the simplest. How do I decide what type of artifact? So the first thing I try to decide is this a free resource or is this paid? If I make a free resource, I usually will base it just on a video so I can link back to the video. If it is a paid resource that should solve a problem, the problem is you don't want them to get overwhelmed and stop, then I think one of the best things to help with the overwhelm is to have a tracker. So a tracker clarifies what action is required from them, and you can add in the artifact, something like a video, a training on how to do the thing, and then you can make sure if they're doing it consistently, and if they're not doing it, you understand that there's unclarity and that's why they get stuck. So I think if it's something to reduce overwhelm, the best thing is a tracker, because in the tracker you're defining what actions are you expected to take, and then you basically can teach them how to take the actions appropriately, and you can from there also see what other things do they have to know to be even able to take the actions appropriately, and then you can see where they're dropping out, and then you can say, what was the reason for not taking the action? Was something unclear, etc. So I think for reducing overwhelm, the first best thing is always to do a tracker, because it allows you to define the behavior that you want to see and create the education around that. Next question, to our 21-minute mark. What do you think about a strictly paid community with no audience following instead of starting with freemium? I think if you have the ad budget and the offer ideas to validate it, you can totally start there. So you can also say, my hypothesis is that a community with this about page copy with these offers in there will convert, and then you can set it up as a test. Always test as low risk as possible, right? So just a community and maybe one workshop and one resource in there. Just try to do it as lean as possible, and then just test your ads. So I think I said this on the last live stream, the more attractive your offer is, the less you need any audience or members, because the more you can also try to sell it directly, and it's very much possible. It is just a higher risk from the perspective of you might need to have more ad tests until you have refined it, or it might not actually convert at all. And you have to pre-produce at least the about page and one valuable thing in the community itself. So you're risking the time creating that. The benefit of having an audience and a freemium community is that they can give you offer ideas that are more likely to succeed, because you're not guessing what people want, but you're creating and giving what they want. But it's not impossible, and it's a totally viable way to go. 2 hours and 22 minutes. What's the number one thing you have seen to improve churn in a membership? Doing the YouTube content and putting it back into the membership, hands down. And with that, better in Skool offers. Making all new content as really desirable new offers and gifting those to the members. If my community is paid, where would you suggest I host offers like the artifacts if I'm selling them as SLO with the paid Skool on the back end? As in, would you host them in a separate free Skool somewhere? That's a really good question. So what I would do is I would just send them to the artifacts page itself, and I would send them the link to it, and I would password gate it. So when you, for example, host the artifact on static app, you can just go here and you can password protect it, and you can just send them the password after via email and give it to them on a thank you page, and then they can just edit it and then they get the access to it. So I would just host it on Static App, and that's also in the course showing you how to do that. The how to price your community is a longer discussion, and I have a full video about it. So I'm just going to send you to this video. What's the best way to run a Coca-Cola ad? Well, we have another. Please check out this video. That still is true. Book a call, book a call. Okay. Two hours and 25 minutes. Okay, let me say that again. When your customer lifetime value to customer acquisition cost is worse than 3 to 1, then your ad is definitely too expensive. Plus, if your payback period is longer than 1 month and you cannot afford the ads from cash flow, so if it creates cash flow constraints, then your ad is also too expensive. So those are the two factors. Look at the customer lifetime value to customer acquisition cost ratio, but then also especially look at the payback period and your cash flow opportunities. If the payback period is longer than a month, you need to be mindful how much can you afford to spend over that from your current cash flow situation. If you have a successful campaign for a live event, can you just swap out the text and creative to make it evergreen language? Assuming everything else stays the same and it says instant access instead of join my live event, yes, 100%. And that's really, really great if you have that, because most people actually enjoy it when it's instantly consumable. How much dollars should we initially invest into ads for our paid school until we can expect the ads to pay for themselves with the signups and the upgrades? Really good question. For validation phase, plan for 3 to 5 phases, and for each phase, plan for 3 times, 1 to 2 times the price of your community. Okay, so let's say your community is $10. That means per validation cycle, you will need between $10 to $20 times 3, right? So anywhere from $30 to $60. And then if you have, 5 cycles, anywhere from $150 to $300 for the validation process. And then you want to look at your payback period, right? And then your ads, basically, if your payback period is less than a month, your ads are already paying immediately for itself. If it's more than a month, as long as your customer lifetime value to acquisition cost ratio is 3 to 1 or better, your ads are still paying for themselves, but it might take a little bit longer for them to pay back. That's why you want to have the payback period, so you know exactly when will they have paid back for themselves, and then you can lean into as much as you have cash flow available. And you can always do things to increase cash flow. So for example, this customer acquisition cost to customer lifetime value ratio, I can improve that by, for example, running a launch event where I upgrade people, right? So we can easily do things to create more cash flow right now. For example, if we are going into a VIP offer and we're doing that with a flash sale. And you can also always do things to increase your customer lifetime value, for example, by doing pop-up events. I did the Almost Evergreen course or the Experience Worker Bootcamp, where they started at 222 and then the price went up to 333 and 444. So those are things that I can do in my business to immediately lift the customer lifetime value, because they're just gravy on top. And because I have my warm audience and my list, I don't pay on top of that, right? So it improves my overall customer lifetime value, and it creates some instant cash flow in my business that I can then reinvest into the ads. So 2 hours, 29 minutes. How do you keep the community engaged and coming back without needing to prompt them regularly? You will have to prompt them regularly. So that's just how people work, right? Life gets busy and then it's easy to overlook things. Oh, I overlooked a couple of questions here. So I answered this earlier today. And you want to look at this answer here as well. I'm going to link it for you. And basically follow this as a process. It just should be part of your routine. It's not personal that they need to be reminded. That's just the nature of the game. Is it worth running ads to a free community, not freemium? Paid offers are elsewhere off platform for context. Yes, if you have a clear follow-up in place to work the leads, automated welcome message, guiding them to a welcome post, personal follow-up from where you sell them, weekly conversion event, and monthly big promo for the paid offer, absolutely worth to use a group funnel. That's basically called a group funnel. And it's been done on Facebook for many years and it does work quite well. Okay, so let me get those. 2 hour, 31 minute mark. Need to close some tabs here. Oh, I did answer this. Oh no. Did I answer all of them now? That would be so good. Oh, I'm not sure. We did have these. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Oh, hi Finn. How's it going? Nice to see you. I'm following your in-school standalone offer method using sales pitch plus Stripe checkout and want to understand the backend flow. How do I automatically unlock just one course inside my paid community for someone who automatically who purchased the standalone offer? And if they choose to become a full monthly member instead of purchasing one time, how does the transition on the backend work? Great question. So I just use a SAP. And I hope I can log in right now from this laptop. Maybe, hopefully. Because then I could potentially just share it with you. I'm not in here so often. Only when I set it up and then I'm right away out again. So here, see, this is the SAPs that we have in here, Artifacts course invite. Let me share it with you. Can I share this? I probably can just show you. I'm sorry, I don't know how to share the SAPs. Or can I? Create a template. There you go. Invite option offer. Okay, no, I'm sorry. Let me just walk you through here. So for me, they purchase in ClickFunnels, but for you, when they purchase in Stripe, you just use the Stripe as a starting point. And then you connect it with Skool, and there you use invite member. The email address is the trigger, and then you unlock the course from here. So in the setup process, you see you can select Skool and then connect your Skool through the plugins. Then you select their email address, you select the course, and then you add them in here. And if they should later on decide to upgrade to be a paid member, then they can just do that in the community itself. So I have it just hosted here in this freemium community for now. If you only have the paid community and you don't want to do it in a paid community, you can just host your artifact outside on static app, and you can decide to gate that with a password. And then I would just have like an ad for your community in the artifact itself that links back to getting them the community. So then all you have to do is the Stripe integration to your MailerLite. From there, you send them to this page with the password. And then in the bottom of this page, you just link to your community. That's the other alternative if you don't want to have a separate community for it, and if your community is only paid. Okay, I do think I answered all here. I hope, and that means I just have some premium member questions left and some questions from the chat. So back to you guys, how you're hanging on in there. Absolutely, my love. Let's go. Nadine, you're next. And I'm answering around the 2 hour and 36 minute mark. Let me find you. Around the 2 hour 36. And let me just quickly tag you. My current situation is that I'm currently running ads to my freebie lead campaign and my mini product sales page, but no matter what I do, Meta does not show my ads to anyone. I started with callouts at fun fact, even if my ads are active in my ads manager, I can't see them in ads library, so I'm wondering if these two problems are connected. My desired situation is that I want to spend more money on ads and new leads to grow my business. My problem is I've been to Adela's calls several times and we have checked my settings. Everything looked good. I have even tried campaigns without any targeting, but still nothing. I'm in contact with Meta support, which basically confirmed that theoretically there are no blockers from the delivery of my ads, and then they point me to a business help center, but without any special hint on what is going on. They still don't have a solution on why my ads are not showing in the ads library, and they say they are working on it, but the answers are pretty general and not helpful. My question is, if Meta support does not provide a solution, what is my next step? Would open a new ads manager with a new page be a good next step, or any other steps or thoughts would be welcome? Yeah. So I have had this, I think, over the course of the last year in 2 or 3 client accounts, and it really is an issue with the account itself. So if they don't get back to you, I would first try to create a new ads account in there and pull your page. Usually it's not on the page. If you have any suspicion that it could have to do something with the page, I would try to create a new page and hook that up before I try to create a new ads manager. Yeah, probably that's the better route to go. First new page, then new ads manager. But very likely it's not the page. Very likely you need a new ads manager. That's frustrating. I'm sorry. Okay, Joanne is next up here at the 2 hour and 38 minute mark. My current situation is I'm running two offers. One is a Skool $21 offer with order bumps, and the other one is a SLO offer that I've been running for 6 months with order bumps and upsells that have been profitable until about 1 month ago when Meta disabled my account due to fraudulent activity where I'm still trying to fix it. So now I'm using my older inactive ad account, which doesn't have much data, and sales have slowed down. For my SLO, I was profitable, making around 800 to 1K per month consistently. My desired situation is to run my Skool offer to grow my community, currently 545 members, but no one really posts. I'm doing the freemium model, but I also want to be profitable with my low ticket offers. My problem is I'm not sure if I should just focus on Skool growth and sell my offers within my Skool or continue both. Here's my Google sheet with the funnel and the results. Okay. Oh, I know. I remember the blueprints. Very cool. Okay. Hey, can be really proud since I last checked. You've come a long way, so this is great. Thing you need just $21 or free when you join the. Okay, so what I would do is we can join group. Okay, so there's the first. I need to share my screen. So there's the first issue in the funnel that we have here. When I try to join your group, I have the email here right away. And I can really sabotage the option offer here. Did I not just enter? Okay. Because now, they would need to navigate manually to the plans page. Sorry. How would they even get here to buy it? Right? You saw me joining. How would they even make that conclusion? So what I would love to test, since this was already successful, is to run ads to both offers and then try to turn this into a paid community with a 7-day free trial, and then let them know or for free inside the community, and also run ads to the community directly. So you see, first step is testing, switching the community to paid, only do the $29 and put the 7-day free trial. Then run the ads again to the offer and to both offers, and on both offers here and let them know, or free inside the 7-day free trial after $29 a month. So you then want to adjust the text basically to how I have it here in the AI artifacts course page, or free inside the dollar per month. And then you also want to run ads to the community directly. So here you see, this is a good example, this ad. It's doing really well. So it says, here's the thing, and you can grab it here, or you can get it for free inside the community. Here's everything else that's inside the community. And the overall link on the ad is to the community, and the link to the separate offer is just in the text. So I'm just going to copy this text for you as well, because that's how I want you to set it up, but just be mindful where the links need to go. And then I think that will unite what you're trying to achieve the best. So just use this as a template. Huh? Now we lost the focus. 1 second. Yes, I do think so. I think it's definitely worth testing. Yeah, I would definitely test them. We're getting really good results with those right now. And it's not so much work to put it together. Alrighty, so another pre-submitted one, and then I'm gonna catch you guys in the chat again from Simone, and I'm answering around the 2-hour 44-minute mark. Let me just see. 2-hour 44. I want to run a book a call campaign and watch your tutorials in the classroom. My challenge is that I can't send them directly to Calendly because I need to explain my service a bit more. I don't have a webinar, but a sales page. What is your best strategy for book a call sets? What's a good cost per lead, cost per call book? That depends on the offer. Typically, if you can get it, around 50 to 70 is really, really good. Let me see. AI Authority Accelerator, 12 months partnership. Every prospect, journalist, and podcast host is vetting you through AI first. What it tells them isn't what you've built 12 months from today. It is. We built the credibility AI looks at. Limited spots. I think this needs a VSL on top that we should also use as the ad itself. Then you need to make sure there's lots of times available always. Yeah, you do. Yeah, and then you can still optimize for the calendar event, right? So you can still use for invitee meeting scheduled, even if you have this embedded here. So it's the same setup, same conversion event. It's just embedded on your page. So nothing changes about the book a call campaign itself. The only thing I would highly recommend is, well, first, probably remove this here because it's a distraction. And then definitely add a video sales letter here. For these type of offers, we want to have video sales letter style ads that really bring the point across and that are really well edited, as well as lifestyle ads. But mostly the video sales letter type ads, also Loom style, is what will work. So we want to have one for the top of the page for sure. And then it's just the same setup as in the trainings that I have in the classroom. So you can still use the Calendly setup, even if it's embedded and you have to go for a bridge page. That's not a problem whatsoever. Welcome. I have a group focused on helping beginner traders build a trading system. I just put up the offer on my Skool. I'm making the group free to join and giving recordings to all free members. For paid, they can join the live calls 3 times a day. They get a 30-day system installations course. They get a coaching call once a week. It's an annual fee of 1,100. I never did ads and organic traffic is 0. Since I just launched the offer and my courses need to be built, I'm looking to DM all my followers and build the first course with the first 4 sales. Okay, all of this so far sounds reasonable. The only thing is, what I would do is I would always give the call recording just for that week, and then it goes into a call recording library after that. And you can totally try to advertise the free community. It's just, you want to be mindful how you're making it fit with meta ads, right? So instead of like saying, I'm going to teach you how to invest, you just say, hey, this is a community for people that are interested in investing. And who founded this? And I think this will work really well as a free community. And you just have to make sure that you're doing your onboarding process, weekly conversion event, which literally is your is the call recording, right? So every week after the live call, you say, well, I just got off the the call with the premium members. As a gift to the community, the recording will be up for this week, right? So please make sure to watch it. After that, it goes into the library. Here's your reminder: if you want X, Y, Z, join now, right? So every week you have that, and then maybe once a month you can make a flash sale. Thank you. And 50 to 70 euros per call book is good. You said, what budget should I start to test with? 100 a day. Yeah. 100 a day, 3 days. Call funnels are more expensive, unfortunately. You could also try to run it through a group funnel. Might get you a little bit cheaper leads. But I understand that the call funnel is the more direct way, so I would also probably try that first if I was in your shoes. Okay. Next up, we have Artin, and I'm answering around the 2 hour and 49 minute mark. So, Artin's question. My current situation is I'm scaling high volume and cost targeting campaigns for Skool. ROAS has gone from 0.8 to 0.9, and amount spent has gone from 4K per month to 5K a month since the last question. Good job. My desired situation is to understand how to best test new ads and to keep driving ROAS up while increasing ad spend. My problem is I run two high volume test campaigns, one with RYH ads and one with testimonial video ads. Both of them didn't really perform. CPA was double my high volume scaling campaign at 300. My question is kind of broad. What do you think about when testing new ads? What did I do wrong? Did I move the ads that performed onto my scaling campaign? But I feel like something is missing. So that was good. You did move them into the scaling campaigns. The thing is that most of your ad tests will have worse ads than your baseline campaigns, right? Because now you're really going into unlocking new audiences. So you just have to be prepared for that, and you want to have a really disciplined testing routine, right? So ideally, you want to go out and test new ads 2-3 times a week and really have a bunch of ads ready and really going into a lot of variety. And then you keep doing this and you keep working it, and you will see that you will have ads that perform not so well in your testing campaign, and you put them into the scaling campaign and they unlock in there, right? So it's just because the first basically test didn't find you another winner does not mean you've done anything wrong. You just need to really up the creative volume and keep doing this work. So I don't think you're missing anything. It's just that you need to get new creative ideas out and on the way. So that's the only thing I think that you really want to focus on, is just larger creative variety and every single day testing. One thing that you can test if you haven't done it yet would be to do like a podcast with your Skool founder, and just ask him questions. It's like a real podcast about Skool, about why did you do what you do, what are the results from the members. Like really have it like a podcast episode. You can even see me interviewing Sam on my YouTube channel, right? So it's like a typical founder story podcast, and try to chop those up. That often does really well. If you do any support calls, you can strip the transcripts and you can answer frequently asked questions and package those into ad angles. You can ask in your community and say, what would you say to somebody who has never tried Skool before? Right, so try to crowdsource more of the ideas for the ads and really, really try to go into more creative volume. And you can always follow along what I do with the Skool ads as well. So you can always go to ads library and, for example, sort by most recent. So you can always see, what is Evelyn doing? Oh yeah, you have, for example, not done any lifestyle ads with long form direct response copy, I think at least. Right, so there's a batch that I tested just recently. Then you see, she has a new like gem one. So just always try to see what is she doing that is more recent that I could be doing. I did like these mock-up style ones. So what would that look like for Skool? And then of course you can also do the same with Skool. If you need new ideas and say, okay, what ads is she launching there? Filter by or sort by most recent to get some new ideas of like what creative concepts is she testing. Okay. right, so my current strategy is to upload all my live courses to YouTube since I'm already doing trading work and I got burned from doing trading and building the business. Okay. In that case, I think it does make sense. I just think often when we have, so for example, when I have calls like these, I don't leave them up on my YouTube channel for a too long of a time, because what I also find is that if there's a little bit of urgency to consume it, people are more likely to do that. But that's something that you would need to decide, also from the upgrade environment. Thanks for the value. Did you switch Grow with Evelyn from straight to paid to 7-day free trial because it's easier to promote it? Promote a free thing with the ads, easier to get more people onto the About page. So I did make the switch because at that time, Sam just rolled out he started to work on the new metrics dashboard. And we saw in my stats that if somebody joined with a free trial, they had a much higher customer lifetime value. And I think it makes sense because you kind of have to get to know me. I'm an acquired taste, maybe, from how I teach and what I have to offer. So that was one thing that influenced it. And then I had the 7-day challenge. So I was like, what if I showed them in 7 days everything I can teach them? And then they can decide if they want to stay. So that both came together. And for me, the free trial works better. And the conversion rate also went up. So it was something I decided to test for a short period of time. And then because it ultimately was higher conversion rates overall and better customer lifetime value, I decided to stick with it. The group funnel is having a free group and then inviting people to book the call. Exactly. Yeah. Like if you've been creating content, you have such an advantage right now. I'm running 2 high volume campaigns, one with 6 creatives from my school, another one with 8 for free tools, plus a target cost campaign. Should I test new creative angles in high volume campaigns and add them to the existing ones? I like to test, if you already have a target cost campaign unlocked, it's beautiful. Then what I like to do is I like to duplicate the high volume campaign into a target cost campaign to see if it takes off in a high volume campaign. So you can choose to test in both. If you choose to only test in one, then do the high volume. All right, so next one we have by Catherine. And I'm answering around the 2-hour, 56-minute mark. So my current situation is I'm opening my first option offer to join the free trial of my membership or buy separately. My desired situation is to create a clear workflow checklist for setting these up, especially the ads part. So I'm not trying to remember each time. My problem is I'm not quite sure on the best practices of the setup. I had a look at your option ads and I see that you have the link in the copy to a standalone offer and link to the Skool community in the main ads, and the main link you're tracking. But obviously this will impact the data for sales made through the funnel. My website is also a bit slow to load, so I can see how sending people straight to Skool makes sense. My question is this your recommended setup for an option offer? Does that mean not worrying about the data from the sales that come through the standalone? You can just put your pixel on the standalone and it will also come through. So I don't see why you wouldn't add your pixel on your website to track the conversions. And do you suggest the call out ads, the mock-up ads to start with for a low ticket offer, and then starting to experiment with others using the generator if the initial test converts? Yes. Also, where it says on the ad optimization cheat sheet, ads are the ads too expensive? Do you have a specific criteria for determining what too expensive is in relation to the offer price? The info will help me create a checklist to work with. Thank you. Okay, so excellent questions. Yes, that is the recommended setup for me, is you have the option offer link early up in the ad copy where it pitches the offer itself. Below that, you're advertising your community. The ad overall goes to your community. But people can also go to the separate checkout page. You want to have the same pixel on your page as well as in your Skool community. And for is it too expensive? Same rules. Is the customer lifetime value to customer acquisition cost ratio worse than 3 to 1? It's too expensive. Plus, can you cash flow it or not if your payback period is higher than 3 months, also factoring in the order bumps. So I think that answers all of them. And for the ads to start with, the mockup ad, the call-out ad, you can do a Loom walkthrough. All of those are our typical this is the offer ad formats. They are the ones that you want to use for testing first. Okay, next up, around the 2-hour 59-minute mark, we have Geo L. Okay, so Facebook ads are breaking even. YouTube is bringing 1 new member with the 7-day free trial. The sad situation is to grow faster. 7-day trial retention is 40%, only 3 days in, but I'm around 9.1K MRR. I want to get to 50K, but I'm unsure if the trial members will stay. Rafi told me, okay, so now I know where we are. Yours is for 31. You only have 2 options, but okay. I think we answered those on the call together already. And I hope that you're clear now on the next steps. If not, please let me know. But I think we clarified what you need, what customer lifetime value you need, etc. Okay, then we have Carrie's question around the 3-hour and 1-minute mark. I've been running profitable meta ad campaigns on a small budget, selling my low-ticket painting offers and a monthly membership. Recently, those similar campaigns have become inconsistent and harder to keep profitable. I got scared and switched everything off. I want to return to consistent profitable ad performance at a low daily budget. I also like a simple, sustainable structure that doesn't require constant tweaking or second guessing. My problem is I feel torn between giving Meta enough creative variations to optimize properly and keeping my budget concentrated for performance. I'm unsure if I'm spreading my budget too thin across too many ads or limiting performance because I'm not doing enough creative testing. My question is, at a lower daily budget, $25 to $40 a day, how should I balance the number of ads versus budget? Is a guideline like $5 per ad still relevant? No. At a low daily budget, what's the most effective way to structure testing without diluting performance? Should I prioritize fewer ads with more spend or broader creative testing with tighter budgets? Broader creative testing with tighter budgets. So you want to now go through your account and review all of your past ads that generated purchases, and you all want to all consolidate them into one campaign right now that you set the daily budget to and that you have it running at. When testing new creatives, you want to put 1 to 2 times the cost of the offer as the price, and you can load more creatives, right? So I would say 2 times the cost of the front end offer. Then you can load up to 50 creatives and just let Meta make that decision. Just give it a little bit more time. They're really, really good pre-screening the creatives. Go for creative variety, and you can test in different volume batches. Just try to get to a consistent routine. So say, I'm making a goal for myself that every day I create at least 1 new ad, and 1 time a week, I'm at least launching 1 new ad testing campaign. So I think, I always say like 2 times a week, because then you can do every 72 hours. But if you set as a goal, every day I'm creating at least 1 ad, and once a week, I'm at least testing 1 new creative campaign. I think that would be a really good workflow, also with the budget that you have and with and how your current setup is. Okay, so I have a few more here, and then I'm coming back to you guys in the chat. Ruta, I'm answering your question around the 3-hour and 3-minute mark. My current situation is my Skool community built with Router growth has stagnant after the initial launch because of mainly ad account restrictions. I have a new ad account up now, so I'm wanting to scale the campaigns, but all campaigns have tried are leading to zero sales. Also, I feel like I'm getting low quality traffic. I'll share my data in a Loom video. My desired situation is I want to scale my ads and get consistent sales, grow to 100 members and then 500 paid members. My problem is my initial launch got 75 members and now we're down to 49 after 2 months because of churn and in-game card declines. I had 3 plans, 7, 27, 147. I decided to test only the VIP plan for now and did a new VSL, new about copy, new funnel the same. I also have 130K Instagram followers and put content out very consistently. Here's my Skool link. Indian payment funnel link. Okay, my question is, why am I getting low quality traffic, or is it not low quality traffic? How do I fix sales? Short form videos here with the ads data. How do I restart sales again? Well, the thing is, my love, you changed a lot of things at once, right? That always makes it a little bit more difficult to trace back what is happening. I'm just looking at this right now. Let me just see here. Website purchase. Yeah, so you're running ads for the Indian audience only, and that will have different conversion rates and buying behavior than tier one countries. Now, right now, from what I see here, you have set up the right campaign. I wouldn't worry about the landing page views if you actually see the views on your website. The thing is, are you clearly mentioning the price in the ads? So that's one thing that I would just double check, because you do have a lot of lifetime or lifestyle ads here, etc. So just make sure that you're very, very clearly communicating the price on the ads itself. And so it looks like right now you're sending them to a separate checkout page as well. Let me just see if I can find your ads and see if you are communicating the price clearly. New inside. Get access for 7 a month. Okay, so you're doing it, I think, in English now. Yeah, I'd be curious to see how that one performs. And here you have the price. So that's good. That's what I want to see. I'm assuming that the others might have not shown the price. And I think now you're going after the English market. Let me just see if I can filter. Okay, so only this one it flags as English language, although I think it showed all of them. So this is more the approach that I would recommend. If you're doing ads for India directly to the sales page, just make sure that it is very, very clear on the ads how much it will cost. And other than that, I would just try to focus on getting this to work and work with the in-school offers, and maybe consider doing it to tier one countries, international audience, so you can what the buying behavior should look like on the campaigns. When did you stop using the waitlist method for growth, Evelyn, and why? Skool changed that you cannot label a free community as paid anymore, and that was disrupting our waitlist process. And at the same time, they were introducing tiers. So I had to do the waitlist because the $99 per month was too high to sell it directly with ads. So I did a monthly workshop as an enrollment event, which was very profitable. But it only worked, or it did not only work because of the waitlist, but it worked in conjunction with the waitlist. And when tiers came out, I said that I want to try the tiers also because they blew up how it's working together. Did you have another question? I'd love to know if it's possible with a template membership and if it's actually profitable. Would you share the MRR of yours? I can't share the MRR of mine because my template membership I co-own with Jessa, and I cannot share that, right? Because that's data that not only I have. Okay, so, or that's not only concerning me. But we wouldn't entertain a membership that's not profitable. Let me put it like this. Okay, so next one, answering around the 3 hour and 10-minute mark. And this is for Abby. Okay, so the question we have is, my current situation is I'm running ads to my $9 per month Skool community and trying your ad strategy for the first time. I'm new to ads, not new to ads, just the strategy. I have one base campaign and one testing campaign currently. My desired situation is to make the ads break even or profitable. I also want to really understand how to implement your strategy better because I feel like I'm missing something. My problem is the base campaign has a lot of ads that are costing way too much per purchase, and ads are spending but not getting purchases, even though they were getting purchases in their testing campaign. The campaign spends too much and doesn't nearly get enough sales to cover the daily spend. My question is, if ads in the base campaign are not profitable at all, do I still leave them or do I turn them off? If the ads in my testing campaign do well and stay affordable per purchase, does that become the second base campaign, or do I move those ads into the base campaign that I have running? That's such an excellent question. So if the base campaign is not profitable, you want to reduce the budget until you have to turn it off or it's profitable. And if you have a testing campaign that's really good cost per purchase, you turn that into the new base campaign, and you can pull ads from the former base campaign that have proven to be profitable into that campaign as well. So you're basically just always establishing the cheapest campaign as the base campaign, and you can have multiple base campaigns as long as they're all profitable. Okay, next one, 3 hour and 12-minute mark. And this is from Mariana, yeah. I run meta ads for a free meditation challenge, life cycle shift in DACH region, and I'm seeing very high cost per lead. My about page has been identified as a conversion bottleneck with significant drop-off between ad click and signups. My situation is I want to bring lead cost down to a sustainable level and understand whether the problem is primarily my landing page, copying my tracking setup, or both. I want a clear diagnosis before investing more ad budget. My problem is I just learned meta ads systematically restricts tracking. That's not true. And meditation may fall into that category. Like I said before today, I don't think that this is the case in your category at all. And you can set up the campaign for it. So that would not be the case. Just make sure your campaign is actually set up for complete registration. I don't know whether my high costs are because of a broken feedback loop, a mismatch between ad creative and landing page, or something else entirely. So if you optimize for the complete registration and your pixel and conversion event are set up, that is not the thing. It still is the offer. Then how do I diagnose whether meta ads tracking is contributing to my high cost per lead? And what's the right next step? Fix the about page, invest the tracking situation, or both simultaneously? My biggest guess is that it's the about page still. If you could, lovely, please share a video of your exact setup of the campaign and the exact results. If you could share that in the community and then tag Rafi and Jen and me and say, Evelyn said to please double check this campaign and make a suggestion for my about page. That would be really helpful. It's German, so I can help you in here. And I want to see the exact ads that you ran, the exact campaign setup. So just, go in here, make sure you have performance and click selected, scroll me through like so, show me all of the ads, and then ideally click on every ad, preview, and then send those links as well. So then we can really diagnose this. Please post it like this in the community. Okay, next up is the 3-hour, 15-minute mark. And we have Anna. Oh, there you are. Okay. I have a freemium community on Skool with 300 plus members, but only one paying member. VIP, she came from a one-to-one session, and an active participant of less than 7% of members. I'm following your guidance. I've built the cookies, but I still haven't promoted them internally and with ads. My desired situation is I want members to actively engage in my community and pay the part of it. It should become my main income source. I want everyone to feel the value and feel valued. 2 cookies are challenges to accomplish it. My problem is I feel lost and overwhelmed about monetization. I don't know whether to keep the freemium model or switch to paid only with free trial. And if I switch, I have to rethink my entire offer structure, tiers, and which resources go where. My question is, should I keep freemium or move to paid only with free trial? If paid, what price range makes sense and how should I structure the tiers? I don't want to disappoint the 300 plus members who joined under the current model. I feel like I'm flying blind and I need help. Okay, so let's check this. Find resources with value. So just a tip for the new Skool search, remove all Unicode from your about page and your community names because it cannot be picked up by search, just like it cannot be translated here. So please make sure to only write like in regular letters. Okay, the community right now here is free. Let me see. Okay, I get the instant approval. Star portfolio, stand out with a portfolio of your dreams. UX resources. Okay, so I think what you need to do in here, independently from the pricing, is to establish a shared journey. What are we walking towards together, right? So in Grow with Evelyn, I think I have that vision like really clearly with the traffic challenge and building that daily habit, and improving the offers, right? So it's like, it's this daily battle. It's not a battle, but it's like this daily like thing we're going on. In here, I'm not like fully sure like what's the shared journey that you're walking towards. Master AI and design, boost your portfolio, so is it that we're building out the portfolio? Is it that we land the client? Like, what is the shared journey where we do have the momentum? What are the problems we're solving? Because once you start to go into shared journey mode, you need to start solving problems, and that's when the questions, etc., come, right? So I think it's gym app. What do you think about the graphics? Do they look appealing? So I don't actually think that this is little engagement. Here for a community of this size. So I think first clarity on what is the shared journey that you're walking, and like making it really, really clear from the about page on. And if you were to make this paid now with a free trial, you actually wouldn't need to change anything here for your existing members. They can just stay paid and free. It's just that you get new members in that pay. So what I would try to do is I would try to clarify what's the shared journey with a challenge, make the challenge 7 days free with the trial. And after that, it's $7 a month, right? And then you can still have your existing tiers. Let me just see the tier structure that you have right now. Yeah, so it's, $9, $19, $2.99, 7-day free. After that, it's 9-day a month for the community and playing the challenge, 19 for community challenge and everything else. And then you have your VIP where you guide them more. So I don't think that that's like a big change to what you're actually doing right now. I think it's just shifting from the free to the paid. So you can also get more people in like that. So I would just recenter the community around the challenge offer that establishes the share path. Then I would switch that to the free trial. For your existing members, nothing changes. And then you have something that you can advertise really well, and that also gets you the engagement in the community. Okay, next question I have this is the last one. Here under the pre-submitted, it's Kathy at 3 hours and 22 minutes. Okay, Kathy, what you got for me? Made the update to the Teacher Appreciation Week landing page, added the offer before the quotes, stressed the price increase and savings, and reduced the FAQ section. More question. What feedback do we have? Once the site looks good, for Frank, what does he have to make sure the pages have when we set them up in the funnel? Tracking, anything specific, anything backend to consider as for the day it gets released. Okay. Let's check this out. We did something really fun there with Claude, where they can unlock a gift when they listen to an audio. So you can see this is for Teacher Appreciation Week. I'm sorry, guys. My voice is over it. Okay, this week, each day unlocks a gift. And then, we still have to implement the audios, I think. So there would be the audios, and when they've listened to it, it unlocks the gift. Love the ideas pack, get the full system inside the visual vault. I would want to have the mock-up of the visual vault here on top. Everything you sampled this week is just the beginning. See all the studies. This does not fully stand out to me as a button. I would probably have this click here or something like that, just so it stands out more. Oh, this is nice. Very cool. Okay. This is so adorable. I love this so much. I think these are not viral titles. So, you know, I have the viral YouTube title skill. Yeah, thank you. So, Cafe, my love, we want to have it like this. What viral YouTube titles can we give this? Thank you. Because they should not be boring at all. Oh, this was the thing we built where they listen to it and then it unlocks once they're done with listening to it. So these I would just sharpen a little bit. Make a line. Visually, it needs to be a new line, different background, maybe baby blue, something that really stands out. Again, with the mock-up. And then same here, add the button again. And then this here needs to be fixed. And then when they go to the visual vault, we have the checkout page for that anyways. We just need the regular pixel setup. When they click from here, we want to send them, I think, to a beautiful checkout page rather than the full sales page again, that just lists again everything that they got. And ideally it has like a video below the one that we also are going to send them in the videos. Here's the sneak peek inside the visual vault. So where you just walk them through the membership area so they see everything. So you have your short checkout form, checkout here, points on the side. Below that we have the video where it walks them through. So just send them to the short checkout. Initiate purchase event is firing there. Don't forget to add order bumps to the checkout. It will make a difference. And then after they joined the visual vault, if Frank can do it at all, to have like a mini buffet of other things that they could add if we have that separately, or the downsell we're using in other funnels. So just try to maximize the average order value. On the thank you page, the purchase event needs to fire with the for the visual vault itself. And I think that's it from what we need to take into account there. All right, looks really, really good. These, I'm not sure, I don't know. It could also give it like a little icon or something like that. Because this feels a bit overwhelming. And even if that was just in like little different colored, different pastel colors like backgrounds, I think it would already look better. But if it was, like a little emoji here or a little icon, I think it would make it even more playful and digestible. So just like add that little bit of polish there, and definitely add the mock-ups as well. All right. So, oh, hi, Stella. How's it going? Was listening. I made a new paid product for my AI Stars community. Wrote a post, a new email sequence, and made a new strategy. That's good. Hi, Julia. How's it going? If you wanted to include a weekly or bi-weekly Q&A call with your members, how would you price it compared to tiers without call? So I do the call, basically everyone can listen to, and if they catch me live, I'll try to answer as many questions as I can. I don't have every live Q&A as much time as today, but I do try to catch as many live as I can, but premium members can submit a question. So the opportunity to submit a question where I will look over your ads numbers and where I would look over your sales page, like I just did for Kathy, that's a premium members opportunity. And so that's how I have it, because the overall Q&A is really good at all levels. If I'm now splitting it out, what I will do is I will do the $7 members. They have the Q&A up there for 72 hours. After that, it goes into the vault in the $33 membership, and only the premium members can submit questions. So I want this relationship building to always be available. And even you see it when I live stream it on YouTube, I do get a lot of members from that. You've heard it cha-ching like a few times. So I wouldn't restrict that relationship building, because it's literally like a funnel in your world. But I would remove that, or I would tier the access to you. At the last Q&A, you suggested I started a $7 per month community or £7 per month community as a lower tier. I was thinking I'd let 50 members in first, so there is a feel of a community as paid members come in. Is that a good idea? I think, my love, you can directly start charging for it. Because you have a proven offer in the other membership, you know what you can do? That's what I did when I had Funnels and Ads Pro and I introduced Coach Growth Hub. You can just give the premium members also access to that space and let them know I'm doing something where I'm making it a little bit more affordable, and I want to build something that's even more has even bigger community. Please be my guest in there. You don't need to pay separately for that. And with that, you seed it with the highest quality members. It doesn't look empty, but you also not keep giving things away for free, and you can start charging sooner rather than later. Okay, 1 second. Whoop. You mentioned doing both digital courses plus mini membership, but at my early stage with a small organic audience, should I get digital product selling first before I try a paid mini membership? Also, what would a free mini membership actually look like versus a paid one, and what does a monthly push mean in practice? Okay, excellent question. So if you think of your digital products, one second. Here you go. You could sell just digital products, right? Like all kinds of digital products. Probably you'll have them like in a certain niche or whatnot, and you would have them as like different price points, right? So I think that's what you're thinking, like as in starting. What I think is a more efficient way to do digital products is to say, what is my transformation journey? And so what this looks like right now is basically, who am I right now? Who do I want to be in the future? And then you can say the digital products that I built, how can I build them so that they plaster my way from who I am now to who I want to become? Then you can have a digital product that's like a workshop or a challenge or a mini course. That walks people through, hey, this is who we are right now, and this is what we're working towards. Here are the steps that I think that this will take, and here's what I'm working on. all right, on this journey, you will need X. So let's start with doing that. So we're moving at least somewhat in the journey. And oh, you have a question about that? Yeah, I have a product that is Y that also helps you with that journey, right? So in reality, what you're doing is you're just curating and structuring the digital products that you create alongside a shared purpose, right? And that's what actually becomes your membership. And the questions that people have along this way, etc., they can just ask them in the community. And then you can charge for access to this. And you can also sell those things separately, right? So you can say, oh, you can buy this here, or you get it for free in my community. There's also these things that all help you. So if you're someone who wants to go from X to Y, me too. And I have all of these things that you can access in my community. So your community just becomes a home for this transformation that you offer, right? So it's basically a digital product curation alongside a shared purpose that you charge for access for in a community. That's basically what we do with this. I hope this makes sense. I'm not good visually. And when it comes to the monthly promotion event, so the weekly event, like I said, I would do a training and I would productize that training. So I have another leg into my membership. For the monthly push, it will typically be like a traditional promotion in a sense of, hey, this month I added all of these products in the tiered membership. They actually are now moving to VIP, but if you still want to have access for them to them at the current price, join it now, because after they move, right? So it would be you're taking something away, right? Or you dropping the price, or you giving something extra. Hey, you guys really enjoyed this training this month. I'm doing a deep dive weekend. We co-work 3 hours on Saturday, 3 hours on Sunday. Let's get this done together, right? So there's many like promo angles that you can take for a flash promotion. It will typically be you either give something for a limited time, or you take something away after you had given it first, or it will be you're pre-selling something that you then do with only these members, or it will be a traditional like price drop. And you want to alternate these because different people respond to different types of promotions. All right, I think that's it, guys. I hope I got all of the questions. The one from Antonella, I will answer right after the call in a personal Zoom, and I think then we should be through for today. Yeah, the cool thing is it also gives you, when you think about your own journey and the shared journey, it not only naturally makes your avatar emerge and you don't have that whole niche kerfuffle, but you also have like a building plan, right? I always know what I need to build next because I always know, I'm always like, this is literally what it looks in my head. It's like, oh no, we're missing this here, and oh no, we're missing this there. So how can I build it as attractively as possible that it stands alone, but it also closes this gap for me? So that's like how my brain works in that regard. It gives me like a production plan, as in what solutions do I actually need to create if I'm thinking that shared journey. And it also practically makes it super easy, because when you look into, for example, the things I create, I did this, the speed ad creation speed. Where was that? I basically showed this one, how I made a new template and how I created the ad for it. I literally was able to create this new offer and the ad for it in 8 minutes because I have this container set up, right? So just having that container where you can drop those solutions as you create them in real time for real people, it's so practical. And the ad is out and about now and working, and one of the best ads right now. So it just makes you super agile as well. And I think that's also what's needed in the space right now. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the beautiful call. Nice. Keep us posted. Good work, everyone. I appreciate you, and I see you in the community. Bye for now.